Okay, everyone, it's 7:01, August 17th, Monday. I know it's a little shock and awe that we didn't have an earlier meeting. We've had those for the past month leading into tonight, but we're kicking off tonight at 7. So I appreciate everybody that's come and sitting in the audience and those that are live stream. So welcome to a packed agenda. We'll move through it tonight. We just ask for everybody's patience and understanding. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please rise for invocation from Pastor Billy Parker. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance from Wyatt White.
Please place your right hand over your heart. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Pastor.
I want to say good evening, everyone. Remember, if you don't know Jesus, make sure you seek him out. He's the most important thing that you can have in your life, I assure you. We're going to say a prayer for this meeting and each and every one of us in here, including our families at home and everyone watching. Father God, we come to you in the name of Jesus. Father, we ask that you send your Holy Spirit into this room, not just into the room, Father, but into the audience, Father, into each and every one of our hearts, Father. You know our minds. You know our heart's desires, Father. But help us not to desire our own heart, Father, but your heart, Father. Father, I ask you to give each and every person in this room tonight the wisdom and the knowledge that they need, Father. Bring to remembrance what needs to be brought to remembrance, Father. Put to rest what needs to be put to rest, Father. And bring to life what needs to be brought to life. Father, we ask this in the mighty name of Jesus, that you encourage each one with boldness, honor, wisdom, and courage, Father. And we ask that you watch over each and every one of us, Father. Bring a blessing upon us with your Spirit. In the mighty name of Jesus we ask. And everyone say, amen.
Amen. Please be seated. Thank you very much, Pastor, for those words of wisdom. Walk in faith. Okay. Approval of the agenda, additions or deletions. I think earlier we had a couple additions to the agenda. Under item 7, discussion. A will be town financial report and outlook. B will be vacant personnel positions. And C will be safety manual amendment.
Motion to approve with the following adjustments that you mentioned.
Okay, I have a motion, have a second.
Second.
Have a motion, have a second. All in favor? Seeing none opposed. Any other additions or deletions to the agenda? Okay. Agenda is approved. We'll go right into manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Fellow board members, I'd like to welcome everybody in our audience in our boardroom and everyone watching from the live stream. I'll begin the manager's report for the August 17th board meeting with a phrase: impact begins where service meets purpose. Tomorrow, First Health will be having a lung cancer screening unit here in the back of Town Hall. The event will be from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. On the 19th, the Cumberland County Commissioners are hosting another coffee with commissioners. It'll be at the John W. Hodges Public Safety Center on Wednesday, the 19th at 8 a.m. The Hive at Hope Mills has begun having a business buzz networking event that will begin on August 19th. There will also be a seminar and webinar on how to navigate regulations tied to Medicare, including parts A, B, C, and D. It'll be brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services on Monday the 31st from 12 to 1. You can sign up for it on the Parks and Recreation site. National Night Out, it was set for a few weeks ago, but it was rained out. The new rain date is September 8th, 5 to 8 p.m. right here at Hope Mills Municipal Complex. The Zion Back to School supply drive is still going on. The fire department at the Public Safety Center is a drop-off location. Next page, we'd like to acknowledge the Planet Fitness in Hope Mills, they donated some equipment to the Public Safety Center on behalf of our fire department. The Barber Kings made a pit stop at Town Hall for their back-to-school haircut tour on the 13th. They provided free haircuts to the cadets of our Cop Out, Not Drop Out Hope Mills police program. In terms of infrastructure, the road widening project on Camden, if you've actually gone along Camden beyond Rockfish Road, you'll see a massive project underway. It's the widening of Camden Road. This phase of the project from Rockfish Road on Camden to the I-295 loop is a $420 million project. It will consist of the widening of Camden Road to 2 lanes on each side with medians. The town was successful in negotiating with FAMPO and NCDOT for sidewalks to be installed on both sides of the street at no cost to the town of Hope Mills. An update on the Hope Mills walking trail repair. It is underway or getting ready to start. It's a repair of 175 feet of the existing walking trail near Adcock Cemetery and Bullitt Street. Stormwater drainage infrastructure will be added to the cemetery. The project cost is $309,000. This will be funded from the stormwater fund, not the general fund, and the timeline is about 90 days. On to Parks and Recreation. There are coaches needed for several of our youth-based teams, so if you are interested in getting involved, please contact Parks and Rec. Fall Litter Sweep is September 19th. Community yard sale is September 26th and 27th. The Hope Mills Chamber of Commerce annual banquet will be September 24th from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Hope Mills Shrine Club. They are actually accepting tickets and anybody that wants to sponsor. They also have photographs from the annual golf tournament that was a success as well. And I will conclude with the last 2 pages of NCDOT construction updates, and that does conclude the manager's report for this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor. As always, comprehensive, and I encourage everyone to look at the manager's report for the latest update on projects and events that's going on in our Hope Mills community. Something going on every weekend. Some corner of Hope Mills has some type of event every weekend. And if you really get bored and you want some live music, just stop into the Hive and you'll get it. All right, board member comments. I'll start with Commissioner Hamilton.
Good evening, everybody. I just want to welcome those that are here in person and those that are online. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Mitchell.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here tonight, and I appreciate very much if you all stay safe, stay cool, drink plenty of water during this heat. I'd like to read something to y'all. A few weeks ago, I think that a citizen came and requested that they was doing an apology. And I thought about that for a while. Then I realized that, hey, that was never properly addressed. So here is my answer. When I look back over the years, working in this community, serving this community, volunteering in this community, I take pride in Hope Mills. When the individual that asked for that apology stand up and apologize for the way they have personally attacked our citizens, some of our citizens, the way they have personally attacked our town staff. When they apologize for preventing the veterans from addressing the issue of the lone survivor. We didn't get a chance to get that in the community. And that was a program that was going to provide support for PTSD and any other issues that we as veterans suffer from, and as well as our families. When they apologize to the way they aggressively disrespected marijuana, Pat Edwards and others, when they apologize for placing a post, and I addressed it briefly, but I want to go back one other way. Thanks to Commissioner Bellflowers at that time, this individual also tried to prevent a husband and wife team from serving on the Veteran Affairs Committee. also tried to prevent the VFW and the American Legion from being part of the committee. And this individual tried to prevent a husband and wife team from serving together on the Veterans Committee. But thanks to Commissioner Bellflowers at that time, he made an exception to the policy, and it was approved, and that was a great decision at that time. And there's many other related issues that should be addressed, but move right along. When this individual posted a Facebook page with my picture and several others, but I'm the one that taking it personal and offensive. So in my opinion, when this individual posted that picture with the words, "The end wants power," it was a gut punch for me. When you take individuals' pictures, just like graffiti, and you put their picture up on the wall and post anything about negative, that right there is a negative statement, and it's wrong. According to Facebook, posting a picture of a black person online accompanied by rap music with the caption of "The End Want Power" is widely considered a racist post. And I considered that at that time. Nobody addressed it, so I'm addressing it again. And they doubled down and said it was their First Amendment right. How can that be? We all have First Amendment rights, but at the same time, there's dignity and respect. We got to respect each other. I took all those things personally, and I personally think that that individual owed us an apology, owed this board an apology, and I'm asking this board to do one of the following or both. The former elected official of this town, we draft up a release, an official statement on behalf of the governing body to explicitly denounce the language and imagery as contrary to the core values of the community, to pass a formal resolution condemning the former official's behavior, to firmly separate the municipality current leadership from those actions. Thank you, Mayor.
I pause a minute because I tell you, thank you, Commissioner Mitchell. Commissioner Marley.
I don't have anything right now, Mayor.
Commissioner Tremmel.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone that's here, and I just wanted to say it was a distinct privilege of mine to attend the Cop-Out Dropout graduation on Friday. Seeing those 13 young people, and I didn't get to see them at the beginning, so I don't know what changes there were, but just listening to what the police officers had to say as far as when they were giving out their awards, there must have been some pretty big changes. And this program needs to go forward year after year, and I just want to congratulate Chief Dollinger and his officers for putting on a wonderful program and the difference that they've made in these young people's lives. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, Hope Page.
Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well in the audience as well as online. Just to piggyback a couple of things as to what Commissioner Trammell just said about the Cop-Out Not Dropout. It was an awesome program. Seeing the children and their achievements. And a lot of the comments that were made by the officers spoke volumes as to how children can change, but adults need to learn from children. We should take a page out of what their perseverance showed. We should take a page out of their leadership, and we need to take a page out of what they displayed in their actions and the amount of time that they have been working with the Hope Mills Police Department. Also, I attended the 2026 United Way meal packing event. That was on Friday as well. There were several of Town of Hope Mills there. We boxed and packed 7 boxes with 32 meals, so it was a total of 224 at our section. They pretty much started running out of everything, but it was a well-attended event. And I also like to recognize the Hope Mills Police Department in the 2026 Fayetteville Community's Choice Awards. They were listed as a finalist.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Yes, you're right. We should take a page. We should take a page from the kids. Because you won't find those kinds of posts from them. If I'm a little frustrated, I apologize. It just, some things touch me. One of the events coming up Wednesday, Chancellor talked about, it's the opportunity to have coffee with our Cumberland County Commissioners at 8. It's over in the EOC Public Safety Building. I encourage citizens that aren't here or not here tonight, if you want to come hang out with the Cumberland County Commissioners, it's that opportunity. It's 8 o'clock. It's Wednesday, August 19th. Want to make sure I get the right time and the right place. That's one event this week. I appreciate all the folks that went and participated in the United Way Meal Pack. I would have been there, but I was at convocation on campus. And it just happened to fall on that Friday where I couldn't be at two places at one time because our classes started today. I don't know how many folks knew about an event that happened on Saturday, August 8th. But I was honored to attend the celebration of life of Staff Sergeant Michael Emerald Swinton at Southview Baptist Church, who was tragically killed in Iraq. And I want to thank Jay Todd, outreach pastor from Southview, one of the organizers. It was a complete, full attendance event to honor an American patriot who gave his life in defense of freedom of this great nation. It was touching. It truly was. But I just wanted to highlight that his life will not be forgotten. All right, I'm going to move on. Under 3, presentations, item A, proclamation recognizing Patriot Day and National Day of Service and Remembrance. It's under tab 1. Town of Hope Mills proclamation recognizing Patriot Day and National Day of Service and Remembrance. Whereas unprovoked, 4 coordinated attacks carried out by terrorists who hijacked 4 commercial airliners. The hijackers crashed the first 2 planes into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York City. The 3rd plane struck the Pentagon, and the 4th plane, following the heroic efforts of passengers to take back the aircraft, crashed it in rural Pennsylvania. And whereas the attacks killed 2,977 people, making it the deadliest terrorist attack in history. This includes 343 firefighters and 72 police officers who heroically responded to the crash site, charging into the mayhem and saving thousands of lives. And whereas thousands were injured, with many dying years later after succumbing to substantial long-term health consequences as a result of the fumes they breathed, either responding or trying to escape from the crash site. And whereas 6,933 service members were killed and 53,479 were wounded in Afghanistan, Iraq, Africa, and other locations, seeking to capture, destroy, deliver justice to those responsible for the devastating attacks on America. And whereas the spirit and resilience of the American people proved unshakable. Despite fear and uncertainty, communities and neighborhoods chose to live with compassion, allowing us to adapt to the traumatic events that helped our nation. Nation citizens maintain hope and move forward. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Jesse Bellflowers, Mayor of the town of Hope Mills, do hereby proclaim September 11th, 2026 as a National Patriot Day, a national day of service and remembrance. In the town of Hope Mills, I encourage all citizens to remember the sacrifice and the valor of our nation's veterans and first responders on this fateful day and the years that followed it in maintaining the safety and security of our nation's citizens this 17th day of August 2026. Yes. Also, before I move on, of course, we know that September 11th is on Friday, and we'll have the 9/11 tribute ceremony here at the town. That will be that morning. And for those of us that continue to do this year after year at Segra Stadium, the stair climb will begin at 6 Friday night. I'm too young. I've done it for years. It's an honor to do it. And some of our firefighters will be in attendance as well. It truly is. It's a moving ceremony. And if you haven't participated in over these years, it's an opportunity to do it, to honor them. Item B, proclamation recognizing Unity Day under tab 2.
Yes. Unity Day, Town of Hope Mills. Whereas the Dream Lives Incorporated is a local nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting the philosophy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s beloved community through initiatives and activities that foster harmony, understanding, service, and collaboration among all members of our community. And whereas August 28th, 2026 marks the 63rd anniversary of the historic March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, when approximately 250,000 Americans from diverse backgrounds gathered in the nation's capital to advocate for liberty, justice, and equal opportunity for all. And whereas August 28th, 2026 also commemorates the anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s iconic I Have a Dream speech delivered from the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, which continues to inspire generations to pursue equality, justice, and peace. And whereas the town of Hope Mills is committed to fostering a welcoming, inclusive, and united community where every resident is treated with dignity and respect, and where diversity is recognized as one of our greatest strengths. And whereas the town of Hope Mills recognizes the importance of promoting unity through education, service, dialogue, and civic engagement, and encourages all residents to work together in building a stronger and more connected community. And whereas the Dream Lives Incorporated, in collaboration with New Life Bible Church, will host a unity banquet on August 28th, 2026 to celebrate diversity, encourage fellowship, and advance the principles of love, peace, and unity throughout our community.
Now, therefore, be it proclaimed, I, Jesse Bellflowers, Mayor of the town of Hope Mills, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim August 28th, 2026 as Unity Day in the town of Hope Mills and commend the Dream Lives Incorporated and New Life Bible Church for their dedication to advancing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s vision of the beloved community, proclaimed the 17th day of August 2026. Is there someone here to receive the proclamation? Okay, item C, Eagle Scouts Lake Project, Wyatt White, and that's under tab 3. Come on up.
Wyatt, can you hit that button, please? Yeah.
I would like to propose an Eagle Scout project where we would be restoring and repainting the marquee outside of Hope Mills Lake. I don't actually know what exactly I have to request. I'm sorry.
I think it's just a presentation, White. I don't think, it's just a detailed presentation of what you're doing.
Okay.
You're just sharing with the board and the community.
So we would be going out sometime in early September to repaint the current marquee into a blue color to match the current chair that was placed out there, along with replacing one of the damaged boards and repainting it to match the original color.
Does everyone in the audience know about the big blue chair? Does anybody don't know about the big blue chair? There's a big blue chair down at the marquee at the lake. It's right behind the marquee, and it's beautiful the way it's set up.
Yes, it is.
And that's going to be your project, is to enhance the marquee.
Yes, to bring it up to date to match with the chair.
That is a wonderful project. That truly, truly is. Now, Lamarco, is he going to coordinate with you or Don or both of you?
Yes, there would be about 8 of us out there helping.
About 8 of you?
Yes.
All right. And you're going to start when again?
Early September is the goal.
Okay. Try to let us know as we get closer into September.
Okay.
So maybe we can meet you down there when you start the project.
Okay.
That would
Could be
really it's really cool to see a community project come to life. And this is definitely one. And of course, you know, that big chair down there is a photo opportunity for a lot of folks. I've seen a lot of photos with people sitting in the chair with families and even animals. It's pretty cool. And that credit goes back to all of our town staff who do exceptional work every week to provide services to our citizens. So Wyatt, you got anything else? Wait a minute, Commissioner Mitchell does.
I have one question. In the past, when scouts came with their projects, they have requested sometime assistance from the town. Would you need that, or it's all on you all?
It would be all us. We would cover fundings, bringing people out to come help repair and repaint it, all of it.
All right, thanks.
Wyatt, do you know how many hours this is going to be? Is it going to be an all-day project?
I do not immediately know. I would assume it'd take about a day. I don't think it'd take longer than that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just thinking, you know, 8 of you going to, you know, you can't work all day without food.
Yes.
I mean, there's got to be some local folks around that should be able to provide some food to the working scouts that are enhancing the improvement of our community. Wouldn't you agree?
I would appreciate it, but
Tell you what, I'll buy the lunch from 'em. I got them. I'll take care of it.
I appreciate that.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
But you gotta remind me now, because I will forget.
That's why I said you gotta, as we get closer to it, you gotta kind of let us know. I gave you a little segue where I was trying to go with some food.
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
Okay, thank you. Item D is Cumberland County Commissioner Development CAPER presentation, Director Ray Manuel, and that's under tab 4.
All right. Good evening, Mayor Bellflower
Good
and
evening.
Commissioners. How y'all doing?
We
Great, how you doing?
we
Doing
good.
good. I had to let my cornbread show. You know, I don't say I'm country. I say it's my cornbread showing. How y'all doing? Y'all good? Okay. Yeah, like cornbread. That's right.
Oh, I like cornbread. Got me
Well,
hungry now.
oh, I'm sorry.
Got me
didn't
hungry
mean-
now for
Okay,
cornbread.
didn't mean to do that. Tonight, I'm here to present our CAPER numbers for fiscal year 26. Hopefully included in your packet. I was moving really, really fast, so I had to create a flyer to give you the summary. because we have not released the CAPER for public comment, but we are releasing it this week. I'm moving a little slow. So hopefully everybody got the flyer in your packets. Okay, awesome. Well, good evening, and thank you for allowing Cumberland County Community Development an opportunity to provide a brief update on our program year 2025 activities for the county's CAPER. CAPER stands for the Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report. The easiest way for me to describe that is HUD's annual national report card for the entitlement community of Cumberland County. It tells HUD and the public what we plan to do, what we did, who was served, and how our federal resources were used during the program year. Cumberland County Community Development administers several federal and local funding sources that support housing rehabilitation, affordable housing, public services, homelessness response, and neighborhood investment. Hope Mills is one of our participating jurisdictions in the county's HUD entitlement program. And what we did in Hope Mills this year. During program year 2026, program year 2025, fiscal year 2026, Cumberland County Community Development has made a direct project investment of $347,706 in Hope Mills. That investment includes 5 homeowner rehabilitations that could be a full rehabilitation or a minor rehabilitation, which is up to $30,000, the minors, and 1 demolition project. The homeowner rehabilitation project supported eligible homeowners by addressing the health, safety, and habitability of property condition which needs help preserving existing affordable housing. The demolition and clearance activity addressed a property condition that met the applicable program requirements and supported neighborhood stabilization. $347,706 represents a direct project investment in Hope Mills and does not include countywide administrative or program delivery costs associated with managing those HUD programs. HUD, our resources such as homeowner rehabilitation, I'm getting tongue-tied, housing activity delivery, demolition and clearance, public facilities, infrastructure, and other eligible community development activities. Before CDBG funds are spent, the activity must generally meet one of HUD's 3 national objectives: benefit low and moderate income persons, prevent or eliminate slums or blight, or meet an urgent community need. Most of our housing rehab work is focused on benefiting low to moderate income housing and preserving safe, decent, and affordable housing. Program year 2025, community development at a glance. During program year 2025, community development recorded more than 6,000 instances of assistance and project activity across our programs. 4,562 people served through our CDBG public service programs. 546 people in 227 households assisted through our homelessness prevention programs. 362 people in 326 households served through past street outreach, 15 homeowner rehab projects completed countywide, and 1 demolition and clearance project. When you look at all those programs together, it gives a broader picture of the work community development carries out, from preserving homes to supporting nonprofit services to helping households experiencing risk of homelessness. Within that countywide activity, Hope Mills accounted for 5 of the 15 homeownership rehab projects completed during the year, along with the demolition clearance project. And I just repeated myself, but forgive me for that. Normally, the draft would already be published and available for public review at this point. Like I said, I am running a little bit behind, so please forgive me for being slow. It seems like, I've been running a little hamster wheel, trying to get off of it, but, I had to hit the ground running. In closing, Hope Mills continues to be an important jurisdiction in Cumberland County's community development program. We appreciate the town's partnership and supporting our opportunities to continue investing in housing preservation, neighborhood stabilization, and community needs within Hope Mills. The last time I was here, before I sit down, one of the commissioners, I think, is this Mr. Commissioner Mitchell, you asked me about a program for seniors. I want you to know I did not forget. That program is still in development. I cannot get ahead of the board, so once we get caught up a little bit, we will be presenting that to the board to see, or doing some more research. And I just wanted to know I did not forget, and I did hear you. Thank you, Mayor Bellflowers. Thank you, commissioners. Any questions?
I'm going to give you these 2 cards. One was my information, and another one is the secretary for the Cumberland County Veterans Council. And I'd like to have you come out and do a presentation to us, as soon, just let me know when you're available. We meet the second Tuesday of every month, and this is information that we need because we have several families right now that can really use that. I mean, the homes are in bad shape because the loved one has passed away and they're living off just Social Security. Yes, sir. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much for the presentation and the update.
Yes, sir.
As always, it's good stuff.
Thank you. Do you have any questions before I?
Board, any questions from the board? Okay.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right. The calendar is coming up for Parks and Rec. Item E, special event planning, fiscal year 2026, 2027, Parks and Recreation. As we call them, our two Megans, Megan Freeman, Megan Mearness. Under tab 5, they will present the proposed planning calendar. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. This should have been in your packet, so hopefully you've had a chance to look over it.
Tab 5.
We'll just kind of run through them. We do have a question about Christmas. Other than that, all of them are pretty much the same every year. Do you want to go through?
Sure. So our most, I'm gonna go through like the big ones that matter. I'm not gonna go through all the little sweeps and stuff. Trunk or treat is gonna be the Friday prior to Halloween, so the 30th, in partnership with Rockfish Elementary again. Christmas, we have Christmas at the Lake, Breakfast with Santa, Paws and Claws Pet Picks, and the Christmas Parade of Lights. Typically, we do Christmas at the Lake, which is the tree lighting the Friday night, and then the rest of the events on Saturday. Last year, because of weather, we combined the tree lighting with the parade and lit the tree when the beginning of the parade got to the tree. Now, we got great feedback on that. People really like that. So if that's something that we'd like to do again this year, regardless of weather, we're happy to do that. We just wanted your opinions on that. If we wanted to stick to the Friday night, that's okay too, but we're asking y'all what you think. Cottontail Trail will be the Saturday prior to Easter. Trucks and Stuff is always the first Saturday in May. And Independence Day this year,
Based on
it falls on a Sunday, July 4th. So based on the calendar, we're going to do the parade and the kickoff both the Saturday prior, which is the 3rd. We're not going to do that every year because it is a very, very long day for staff, having the parade in the morning and then the kickoff in the evening. Typically, the only time we'd ever do that is if it did fall on a Sunday because we're not going to have a parade during church. So, does anybody have any questions, comments? I'd like to know your opinions on the tree lighting.
When's the fireworks?
July 3rd.
Okay.
Already, Monday, the Monday after our last celebration, we're already on the calendar in the books for it.
I will say this. In fact, I'll probably say this for the next couple months. I will remind everyone that fireworks in 2027 will be July 3rd. Why? Because it always seems like when we get to May or June, everybody forgets about what was discussed on August 17th.
That's right, and
On a hot August night. In the song of Neil Diamond. So, and I learned this several times. I think we will include this maybe on the manager's report, that there'll be a revolving loop as we continue through the year. Then that way it'll be no shock and awe and surprise when we get to June that the fireworks are on July 3rd.
With the rain date of July 4th.
Okay, with the rain date?
With the rain date, yeah, well, if you want it
The
on,
thing about it is it will always be the Saturday prior to July 4th with the rain date being the following day.
Okay.
all right.
And then back to Christmas at the Lake. That would be, if we do combine it all on Saturday, that would be in partnership with the Appearance Commission. If we have 180 entries like we did this past year, we'll be full force up here. So we'll need assistance with kind of coordinating down there, with the cookies and the hot chocolate. Last year they were donated, from Manna Church. So we'll be getting with them the next coming weeks about the logistics for that. If we agree to move all of it onto Saturday evening.
Mr. Mayor?
Okay.
I think the way we did it last year worked out pretty good. I mean, and we had good reviews from it too as well. So I think, and everybody seemed to enjoy it.
Any other comments from the board?
I'd
I
like
think
to know
the-
your opinions
I think
on what you guys
the community
prefer.
spoke, really. I mean, they did. The community spoke. It's not just us, it was community that really enjoyed that change up because it kind of worked out. Mayor Pro Tem? Yeah. So it kind of worked out. I mean, sometimes, you know, you do something a little bit different than you've done it in past years and it kind of fits. Okay.
How would that work for staff? Would that be okay, like with,
Combining it?
it'll be a long day, but how would that?
That first Saturday, in December, it's usually that way anyway, with Breakfast with Santa. The fire department really helps out a lot with getting set up. Our maintenance guys get everything over there prior to the event. It's catered by Eggs Up Grill, who will be our sponsor. So that is a lot easier than doing a parade in the morning and then turning around and trying to do a big event in the evening.
We also don't have to deal with the heat.
Yes.
Which is nice.
And so then the tree lighting, I think it was a really cool, neat thing that happened last year. And like I said, we would just have assistance from some of our commissions and our committee members, and have one of our maintenance guys down there in the tree, linking up with you guys to stop the parade and get the tree lit.
I gotta have Chancellor with the bullhorn. We do it just like we did it in December. We'll do it the very same way.
Same lineup.
We'll pull right up, we'll stop. He'll get out with the bullhorn, I'll get out, we'll go and light the tree, and then we'll continue on. So consensus of the board, if we're gonna keep it together, yes? Everybody's good with that? Yep. I see, that's a yes.
Awesome.
So,
All right.
that's easy.
All right, Megan.
Thank you very
Thank you, guys.
much. Now, Chancellor Lamarco, make sure that we get this included in your manager's report. Every one of them. The whole list. Right, Lamarco? I see him shaking it. The whole list. It will be in every manager's report. Next. Public hearing, item 4. Item A is ZNG 00426, rezoning of 1.49 acres from the R15 residential district to the ONIP office and institutional district within town limits, or to a more restrictive zoning for the developed area located at 4955 Legion Road, the rear eastern portion of the property, REID 041-4833-55-9000, submitted by Hope Mills Methodist Church, applicant and owner, and it's under tab 6. All right.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Board of Commissioners. Tonight we're going to be doing ZNG 00426. It's a rezoning request to ONIP Office and Institutional District. There we go. So the Town of Hope Mills, we received a request to rezone 1.49 acres of land from R15 Residential District to ONIP Office and Institutional District. It's located at 4955 Legion Road, and this is the rear eastern portion of the property. The parcel identification number is 0414-833559. The subject property is adjacent to developed and undeveloped residential properties. To the north, there is the Brook Ridge subdivision. To the south, there is the Woodland Ridge Apartments. To the west of the property, there is Clifton Forest subdivision, and to the east of the property, there is Little Rockfish Creek and undeveloped land. Access will most likely come from Legion Road. The Southwest Cumberland Land Use Plan calls for low-density residential. The request does not fall within the current guidelines of the Southwest Cumberland Land Use Plan, but also with it not falling in the guidelines, O&I is also a rezoning district that is good to fit with residential districts. It's more compatible with residential than commercial. So this is just an aerial view of the surroundings, so you can see the Clifton Forest subdivision, Brook Ridge, Little Rockfish Creek, and the Woodland Ridge Apartments along with the subject property. Here is another aerial view. And so we have the applicant owner is Hope Mills Methodist Church. They have a request to rezone the ONIP Office and Institutional District with 1.49 acres. So here you can see the public utilities. They have access to sewer and water coming off of Legion Road. Here are the current zoning. So you can see the Brook Ridge subdivision, the Clifton Forge, and the subject property are currently zoned all R15. You have R10, and you have rural residential, and the Woodland Ridge apartment complex is R5. So here it shows the future land use plan. The future land use plan calls for low density residential. You see it has open space and mixed use where the apartments are at. The request is non-compliant, but like we said, O&I does go with being next to residential, which this would fit more. And also they're not changing the infrastructure of the property. They just want to use the office space in the second building they have on the property. So here we have some pictures showing the actual property and what's surrounded. So this is going towards Legion Road, going up from Hope Mills. This is going down Legion Road towards Hope Mills Middle. Here's the Hope Mills Methodist Church. And here's across the street, you see the residential living. And if there's no questions, I ask the floor be open.
Motion to open public hearing.
Have a motion, have a second. Have a motion, have a second to open public hearing. So public hearing is now open. Is there anyone here that wishes to speak against zoning ZNG-004-26? Is there anyone here that would like to speak against ZNG-004-26? Seeing none? Is there anyone here that would like to speak in support of ZNG-004-26? Is there anyone here that would like to speak in support of ZNG-004-26? Seeing none, have a motion to close public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Seeing none opposed, public hearing is now closed. Do I have an action? Or do we have questions before the action?
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Can I just verify one thing on your memo? I just want to make sure it's ONIP Office and Institutional District, because on the memo it has CP on this page, on the memo. I just want to make sure. I didn't see CP nowhere else, but I just want to make sure. Okay. Track.
Yeah,
That's it.
O&I.
Thank you.
O&I.
And for those that may not know what O&I means, do you have a little brief definition of what O&I is?
It's more so office and institutional spaces for smaller areas. It's not commercial. Nobody's really coming in there. It's business, like somebody's going to go in the office, do their work, go home.
Thank you. That was it.
I'll find it. Okay. You have it?
Which one's for?
County letter?
Was it? Which one is for?
No. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Is this my motion?
Yeah.
Okay. I move that the Town of Hope Mills planning staff, wait, hold on. I move the Town of Hope Mills planning staff, is that my motion?
Yeah. Recommend.
Recommends approval of the rezoning request for the rear/eastern portion of the property located at 4955 Legion Road from the R15 residential district to the ONIP Office and Institutional District. It is not consistent with the 2013 Southwest Cumberland Land Use Plan, which calls for low-density residential. The proposed zoning is a strategic fit for the property's infrastructure, as the bottom floor of the rear building has multiple rooms that are currently used and can be used as,
Unused.
currently unused and can be used as office space. This rezoning will not disturb any land, right, This rezoning will not disturb any land and will keep the infrastructure as is. This district rezoning request is positive for this area as the zoning is for small areas often situated between business and residential areas. ONIP regulations are designed to maintain greater compatibility with nearby residential districts than with a commercial district.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any other comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Seeing none opposed, the motion carries. Okay, it's approved. Thank you very much for coming. Next item is number 5, public comments. First up is Mr. Belcher.
Right, okay. And make sure it was on. My voice carrier anyway. So I'm here. I was only gonna talk about one, but I done got like 7.
You gotta state your name and address.
All right, name Kerry Belcher. I'm here on behalf of Cumberland County Bee Association. I'm a beekeeper here in Hope Mills. So I'm but I was calling, I was up here just saying that they doing all the additives here in Hope Mills, and like for the ducks that we have here, like some of the other ones put like maybe a sign that says duck crossing because people still act like they don't know how to drive. And I've seen about hit them. I know they can get in trouble, but if we could put like a couple of signs up that along the Hope Mills lake area, so people know, hey, ducks may be crossing, and also for like they doing the streets, if they could build the side like on some of the bigger cities, they got the little bike lanes. If they could possibly make some for people that, like me, I'm a disabled vet and I have a recumbent bike and all this stuff, so I would like to have some bike lanes I can be able to ride along the streets, like something like they have in Raleigh and in Charlotte. And then parking for the motorbikes, like the little things where they can go and people that ride mopeds or scooters or motorcycles, they can have like a little small space for them to park. Because it's none, like for the meeting here or some of the other stores. So you got to make spaces to park. And I was just saying if they can contribute for making people that ride bikes and mopeds and all that kind of stuff. And then I want to talk about the hive. All right, they call themselves the hive, but nothing there talking about any kind of bees or anything. So I was like, maybe they could have like a gift shop where we could have some of our local honey from our hives, sell it inside there, and some of the events that we have throughout Hope Mills that I know that Whitaker, which is our president, he don't mind. We can come and do educational things with the pamphlets, free little trinkets for the kids and all that kind of stuff. And we actually have observation beehives where they can actually interact and they can see the live bees and everything with the queen, down to the queen to all the drone. And that was it.
Mr. Belcher, do you have a card with your information on it?
Yes. On the table back there, they have the card for, like, if you have bee swarms, because this is about time that they being active right now. They got a card in the back, so if y'all do, y'all can call the number on there. And then, but they got, if you need to reach anybody else, they got the email on the other side. And then there's some other educational information back there if you need to know about the different things about what bees and honey and all that kind of stuff.
Well, the reason I was asking, does it have your direct phone number on that card?
On the card, it has the number on there that you can call at the bottom. And then
Because Chancellor knows where I'm going.
I will say, ironically, I did hear back from Kevin Grant, so I'll be emailing you to try to set up a meeting this week. He said he definitely is excited about the possibility of partnering.
Okay.
And that's the owner of the hive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Kevin is very excited, and when you meet with him, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's great opportunity. He's an excellent community partner.
Okay, like I said, we excited that actually being bees from the hive, that people can actually see how they work and observe, and like I said, that it'll be nice, like I said, because I'm not sure if I'm the only beekeeper here in Hope Mills, but I know there's a lot throughout Fayetteville. But I'm glad to actually be here, that way I can pass information to y'all, and hopefully during the events y'all have, like the dog festival thing and some of the other events, that we can actually have a little area where we can set up and show the kids, because I didn't know people was actually excited for bees.
All right, sir.
Yeah.
We thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
We'll be in contact.
Okay.
Mr. John Martinson?
Good evening. My name is John Martinson. In 2018, the issue of increasing terms of office was put on the ballot. The good citizens of Hope Mills voted 57 to 43% to keep two-year terms. On July 7th of 2025, the last board voted by a simple 3-2 majority to change the terms to 4 years. This was done against the will of the citizens of Hope Mills, who had not only voted against it in 2018, but many who spoke up unanimously against it before the 2025 vote. In September 2025, CityView Online posted a series of interviews they did with commissioner candidates. The following are taken from those interviews. Grilly Mitchell: my position on the 4-year terms is straightforward. I believe this decision should ultimately rest with the residents who vote for those who serve in office. Hope Page: changes such as this should also be explained in full detail as how it will apply and who it will affect, allowing the decision to be made through balloted action. Lisa Tremmel: I strongly disagree with that decision. With 2-year terms, the citizens can remove a commissioner if it is felt they are not doing the job the majority wants. They aren't stuck with someone for 4 years. Cynthia Hamilton: myself, as well as many citizens, have said that their voices are not heard and that decisions have been made regardless of what the citizens have said at the meetings. I believe that we need to go back to 2-year terms. Well, there you have it. You now have a chance to reverse the damage done by the last board. I respectfully submit that you put an agenda item on your next Board of Commissioners meeting to change the terms of service for commissioners and mayor from 4 years back to 2 years. You must correct the mistake of the last board first and foremost. The issue of putting it on the ballot can wait for future discussion. Now, Commissioner Tremmel, you hit the nail right on the head when you said stuck, because that's the way I felt when the last board voted 4-year terms. And now here we have, I'll give you a good example of stuck. We've got 2 commissioners who I believe were rightfully censured for conduct unbecoming their position, and now we've got to wait 3 years to vote them out of office. If we had 2-year terms, just a little over a year, we could vote them out. So in closing, I just say put it on the agenda and vote on it. Thank you very much for listening to my concern.
Thank you, Mr. Martinson. Before we move on, I want to recognize a citizen that over the past month or so sent the board 2 emails. One on June 7th and one on August, nope, let me back up. One on June 16th, one on August the 7th. Her name's Tanya McFadden. She sent the board 2 emails. I responded to those emails, and I'm just only going to read a couple pieces that she wanted the board to realize in these emails. She didn't ask for these emails to be read during public comments. She wanted us to take notice of her passion, and I value the words that she put in both of them. Because she said, I am asking this board to stop allowing division to dictate how Hope Mills conducts its business. Become united around the responsibility you were elected to fulfill, serving the entire town of Hope Mills. She went on to say that her concern is that a censure cannot become a selective political tool. And I will even add to that, nor can any staff member of this town. If the board intends to hold its members accountable for their conduct, then every commissioner and the mayor should be held to the same clearly defined standard, regardless of alliances, disagreements, personalities, or which citizen submits a complaint. There's two paragraphs from a very powerful set of 2 emails that was forwarded to the board for review and consideration. And I wanted to acknowledge that she sent those emails by her name and referenced several paragraphs that were included. I take great value of all her words, as well as this board. And I just wanted to highlight that before we moved on. I did encourage Ms. McFadden to attend our regular meetings. I also invited her, if she wanted to address the board in public, in person, that she was invited to do that as well. And as every citizen has the opportunity to come to that mic and address either in person, or they can continue to send the board emails. That's why we're here, to serve the citizens that elected us to make tough and hard decisions for this town. A lot of them tonight. Oh, that's what I was looking for. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Oh, yes. Yes. So today, before I move on, late today, we got an email from a citizen about Hope Mills Road traffic safety and multi-jurisdiction coordination. This was, actually when did it come in? It was late, wasn't it? 5 something? I think. 6:04. I think is when it came in. From a Carla Guzman. Ashley, you want to read it or you want me to read it? Go ahead. I read a little bit of the last one.
Dear Mayor Bellflowers, members of the Board of Commissioners, and Town Clerk, please accept this formal written statement as a public comment for the official record of the Board of Commissioners' regular meeting. The purpose of this correspondence is to request proactive traffic safety coordination along the Hope Mills Road corridor. Fayetteville municipal officials, law enforcement, and the fire marshal are currently conducting targeted enforcement operations at Aladdin's Lounge located at 915 Hope Mills Road. While this business operates within Fayetteville city limits, its proximity to the municipal border means that traffic disruptions, late-night noise, and reckless driving regularly extend directly into Hope Mills jurisdiction. The safety challenges along this shared corridor are well documented, as evidenced by the fatal pedestrian accident involving Matthew Woolman at the intersection of Hope Mills Road and Redwood Drive. Fayetteville police leadership, including Captain Benazzi and Assistant Chief Petty, have committed localized resources to mitigate these issues on their side of the boundary line. However, sustained safety along the thoroughfare requires a coordinated effort between both municipalities. to prevent further traffic incidences and ensure the safety of Hope Mills residents, I respectfully request that this board direct Police Chief Dollinger to establish operational contact with the Fayetteville Police Department. Specifically, I ask that the town explore a joint multi-jurisdictional traffic safety initiative or increased visible patrol presence near the town boundary line during peak weekend hours. I have compiled an 11-page documentation packet detailing specific incidences, timing, and patterns along this corridor, which was recently submitted to the Fayetteville City Council, and I am happy to forward it to Chief Dollinger and the town manager upon request for further review. Thank you for your time, leadership, and your immediate attention to this matter.
Okay. Chancellor in Chief, will you respond back to this citizen, Carla Guzman?
Sure. Yeah, we'll meet and kind of discuss and
Yeah.
I guess see what Fayetteville is doing as well.
Yeah, you guys kind of get together and
Okay.
draft up a response to this public comment.
Okay.
Okay, any other public comments? All right. Consent agenda item A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J. Is there any board member that wants to move any of these items, or do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda with including all of these items?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Have a motion to approve the consent agenda with items A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion is carried. Now we'll move on to, that's the end of the consent agenda. We'll move on to the discussion, and I think the first item was the financial position. I think I wrote it down somewhere. In fact, I know I did. Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yep. Financial report and outlook. Brittany, you got this? Nope, she's going second. You're going to set it up for her. Because Brittany, she's got the next two. She's got vacant town positions, and then she's got the safety manual.
She does. I won't put anything else on her plate. So I'm just gonna go through briefly tonight the state of our town's finances. And I say our because I treat the town's finances as if it's like my own. So that's what I was hired to do with our taxpayer dollars. So we'll get right into it. So what we're gonna discuss tonight is where the town is financially, what challenges we're facing, what actions that the town is already taking and already implementing, and how we're protecting currently our taxpayer dollars. Our mission here, of course, townwide is every dollar that we collect, that we entrusted, that we're gonna keep the community safe, we're gonna maintain our parks, our roads, doing all of these things, all while still remaining financially responsible. So how the town receives revenue, our main revenue driver here at the town of Hope Mills is property taxes. So we balance our budget heavily on, we have a beautiful collection rate of over 99% of our property taxes. So majority of our revenue is based on property tax collection, sales tax revenues, any permitting and fees that come out of our inspections department, any county or state shared revenues, and then any investment earnings that we have through our investment portfolio. So here is where we are today, and this is as of August 17th. I pulled all of the balances before I did this presentation. So this is our current cash and investment summary. So, and this is completely unrestricted. So this is what the town has available to use. So it doesn't include any of our restricted revenues, which would be designated for a specific purpose. So what we have ready and available to spend for the town is $3.3 million. Since July, of those other revenues, like I said, any permitting fees, parks and recs, we've collected $212,000 of that outside of the $3.3 million that we have collectively in all of the town's bank accounts. So I put this bullet in there. It says, although the town has cash available today,
we have collected less than 1% of our annual general fund revenue based on what our budget is. So what the town has collected outside of property taxes is that $212,000. So this is showing where we're spending our money. The town of Hope Mills spends at least 66% of its total revenues collected on public safety alone. So between the police department and the fire department, that accounts for 66%, which is that blue. The police department is the blue. The fire department is the green. So combined together, police is 50%, and the fire department spends 16%. The remaining other departments is that little light peach color, and that represents 34%. And this is the spending just as of July 1st. So our town is heavily invested in the public safety of our community. So the challenges that we're seeing right now, the challenge isn't that we don't have a balanced budget. We passed an adopted balanced budget on June 22nd. The challenge is making sure that the town has enough cash to last us until our property tax revenue arrives, which that's not projected to happen until sometime in December. So some of the town's major obligations include, of course, payroll being one of our biggest. We make biweekly payroll to our employees. We make weekly vendor payments to any of our vendors that have done any type of work. If they're under any type of contract or anything for the town, we pay those out on a weekly basis. We have debt service payments where we have financing for different things throughout the town. We have, of course, our monthly utilities, and then we have our public service, our public safety operations. And we also like to keep a nice amount just so we can prepare for any emergency situations or any type of inclement weather that we may see throughout hurricane season. And it's not literally just hurricanes. Sometimes we can get a heavy rain in places. We need to be able to implement our emergency response services. So what we are doing, so these are things that the town has put into place town-wide to help us conserve some of that cash. So I'm trying to, wherever I can, I know we have a lot of the department directors in here today, and I know they're so aggravated with me right now because they email me and let me know every purchase that they have to make. And then if it's something that they can put off or something that they can wait, we talk about it, but the department directors have been literally taking the forefront of a lot of the things that we're seeing right now, because this means some type of shortfall is happening in their department, but they're doing everything they can to help us keep spending down as much as possible. I'm reviewing every town contract. We're looking at vacancies. We're monitoring spending weekly. I'm looking at the accounts daily. We're trying to protect our emergency reserve accounts, and like I said, just keeping that money to the side for any emergency situation. And we've always, even before I came here, there are monthly reports of financials that are given to the board. Some things that we've added in addition to those, we've set some spending restrictions, and you may ask, like, well, what does that mean? So we've asked that that we limit our discretionary spending. So discretionary spending, just in case, you're like, what is that? What does it mean? That means we're trying to limit purchases to anything that's, it has to be something that you really need. So we've already restricted training and travel. So we've cut conferences, any type of non-essential training, any type of employee meals, celebrations, or spending extra money on recognition events. We've cut back on promotional items, any branding merchandise, any non-essential furniture or office upgrades, any type of decorations for the town, any optional memberships or subscriptions that employees have that keep them a part of associations. We're asking if you can, if the town has paid, that if you no longer need that subscription, that you let us know so we can cancel it. We're reviewing any type of non-essential professional services. We're also looking at events and programmings that we can cut back on to cut back costs for the town. And we're asking that any nice to have, quote unquote, purchases are delayed until we can get a better cash flow model coming in. So these are just some of the changes that we've had in addition to what we're already doing. So our next measure, I feel like we're in phase one and we are saving money, but I feel like it's time for us to go into phase two. And phase two means, when we passed the budget back in June, effective July 1st, we do have a hiring freeze in place with the exception of positions that were vacant before July 1, and then anything that's considered public safety. So why I'm asking for the board to consider reviewing that clause is that not every vacant position affects public safety equally. So I feel like each position, including public safety, we should ask, is it essential? Can it wait? Can the duties be reassigned? Can hiring wait until revenue approves? Is this something that's impacting emergency response? So I feel like each position at this stage of where we are needs to be looked at an individual basis versus just saying, oh, it was vacant before before July 1st, or just considering things public safety as something that's essential. So to go on record, to make sure we're clear, we're not eliminating any position. The request is to consider taking extra steps and reviewing those vacant positions that we have to see if there's an immediate need to hire or if we can delay them until we get our cash flow a little bit better. So before spending a penny of our taxpayer dollars, this is what I say we ask. This is regardless of whether we're in a penny crunch or not, but we're asking, is it necessary? Can it wait? Does it improve service? Is there a less expensive alternative? Which is why we're making sure that within our thresholds and compliance with our procurement policy, are you getting 3 quotes? Are you calling around to see if this is the best price? And does it help protect our financial future? So this is just a summary of everything that we went through here today. I'll go ahead and skip down to bullet number 3 to remind the board and our citizens that we did start this fiscal year already in a deficit because we have to figure out a recoup plan for that 1.5 million reduction we had in the general fund reserve. So we're entering the year $1.5 million short because we had to spend it back in 24-25. So like I said, our public safety functions account for 66%. I broke it down where we spend at least 50% on the police department, 16% on the fire department. So the town we have to look at how we're gonna withstand up until December. So this is my formal recommendation to the board, is that we temporarily pause the filling of vacant positions to include non-emergency operational and administrative support within public safety unless an exception is approved based on the operational necessity or a public safety need. That you continue to allow me to implement spending conservation measures to require the justification for any discretionary expenditure, which gives me the authority to ask, do you really need this? Is it something you can wait for? And then allow me to make that determination. And our departments are already prioritizing what's essential, but I feel like we can go a little bit further with that to defer any non-critical expenditure until the town's cash position improves. And I will continue to provide the board with the monthly financial updates and monitor the cash flow daily. And I do send our town manager an update. Sometimes it's weekly, and maybe more than that if I feel like there's something for him to address immediately. So do I have any questions? Or
Brittany, leave that slide up. That last slide, your recommendation. Leave that one up. And I will ask for a board action after Leanne comes up for item B.
Yes. So Leanne will give you the breakdown of the positions that we have vacant and all of that.
Mayor, are we going to be able to ask her?
Yes.
Okay.
I wanted Leanne to come up and present the vacant positions, and then I'm going to ask the board for comments, concerns.
All right, thank you.
Because they both work in concert.
Okay.
Thank you, Leanne. Thank you, Brittany, for setting it up. Leanne thanks you too.
Brittany and I have been working together on this, so this is good. So as it stands as this moment, so we have two types of employees. We have our regular employees, which are the people who they are hired for year-round service. There's full-time and part-time within that. And then the other side is limited service, and that's your seasonal, your temporary, those things. So I'm gonna talk to you about the regular, because the seasonal temporary kind of just does its own thing. So we currently have 3 firefighter positions open. That's the entry level for that department. We have 2 officers. One is a task force officer, and then we recently lost a captain. We have 2 part-time rec leaders. They would like to have 3, but we just lost 2, so they're trying to fill those. Those were vacant prior to the freeze, and they were permitted to be filled, and just we haven't filled them. And then we have 1 part-time receptionist for administration at Town Hall.
Damn, back up, 3 firefighter positions open?
Yeah, we just lost someone. The second?
Is that right, Chief?
Second of
Is that
July.
3?
Yeah.
I mean, I know we unfroze 1, but
We had one frozen and 1 vacant, and then we lost the third one on July 2nd, so that's why we have 3.
We lost one, due to, inability to obtain EMT certification on time. So he didn't want to leave, but pretty much forced to. We had the froze position that had been froze for however many years, and we just lost one, to another municipality, neighboring department here. So, that's the 3.
thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
3 firefighters, 1 task force, right?
And 1 captain.
And 1 captain. Parks and Rec?
We just filled, I don't know if Marco left, I don't know if these started yet. I think we're in the process of filling the maintenance position. That was the only position in Parks and Rec that was allowed to be filled other than these part-time 2.
Now, if I remind the board, and Marco's not here, but Chancellor knows this too, remind the board of why that position was filled. It's because that one's gonna be in the maintenance department, it's gonna operate that tractor that we ordered. Brittany, did we order that tractor? Yeah. Yeah. So I know that, when we talk about prioritizing, spending, that tractor was one of them because of the mission that it's gonna have to use out there on a former golf course, but it needs an operator. So that's the main reason that position was filled, and it was prior to 1 July. So as far as the administrative position, I know that was Antoinette that left. I think that can be absorbed in-house. The 3 firefighters, and then we got a task force officer and a captain. Now, thank you, Leanne. Commissioner Hamilton, I'll start with you, and Brittany, come back forward because we'll probably have some questions. In fact, I'm pretty confident we will.
Yes, so just in summary, so we have the law enforcement task force operations officer, we have the police captain, we have 3 firefighter openings, we have a recreation leader that's part-time and a receptionist that's part-time. So what I asked Leanne was, are these vacancies impacting minimum staffing requirements? So those are some of the questions that we ask. And are these positions operational, where they're in the field and emergency response, or are they admin or support? So those were the things that I want you to consider. I'm not telling you what to freeze, and if they're already under their minimum staffing. For example, being down 3 firefighters, I mean, I think they started the year under the minimum staffing, but now they're still down 3. So these are things that I guess we have to consider before we just say open wide, just fill positions. But in order to bring people in and re-entry to hiring, there's a cost associated with that. So that's where I guess we stand as of today.
Thank you. Ms. McLaurin, you answered pretty much all of the questions that I had during your briefing. Thank you.
That's what I wanted to do.
You did, and it was great. I just have one question for now. It says the statement is not included in my presentation, but I hope it provides clarity to the board. In summary, the town has $3.3 million in the bank. Since July 1st, the town has already paid $4.1 million of operational costs, and that's in almost 7 weeks. So is that out of the general fund or the reserve or general fund?
Yes.
Okay, so if we have $3.3 million in the bank and we lost $4.1 million in almost 7 weeks, how long is that $3.3 million going to last? Was that 4.1, was that recurring contracts or something that it happened so quick? I mean, that's
Well, I
pretty
can
fast.
tell you that a bulk of it would be payroll. And then from there, we had a lot of contractual obligations that went into effect July 1st that we had to pay out.
That's what I figured. You had something there that absolutely had to, okay.
And then we had a large debt payment of $680,000 that we had to pay out as well. So if you take the payroll biweekly, and we pay about $425 a week, biweekly, which averages out to about $850,000 a month, payroll alone, and if we only have $3 million left.
Yeah, because that's a lot of money that we lost in 7 weeks. So the risk, the additional cost controls, I think you explained those pretty good. But do you have other controls in place to save us besides, I know you did the credit cards.
I forgot to mention that.
And we're freezing positions. So those positions that are frozen, were the majority of those frozen prior to were the majority of those vacant before 1 July?
I think the firefighter had that frozen position that we unfroze.
Yeah, we did that one, but you said there's two
I'm not
more?
sure which other ones were vacant prior to July 1st.
So, since no, it's okay, this is the same.
I got it right here.
Since July, we've lost one firefighter, the task force officer, the police captain, the rest, and the receptionist for admin. Those are all been since July 1st.
So that was prior to 1 July?
No, since July. Those were
Okay.
after July 1.
So we can't hire for those then, correct?
Those ones can not, well.
Unless it's priority.
My prior understanding is unless it was public safety, they had to come before the board to be approved before we could move to hire.
Okay. Because I know, I was told there's one rec leader that you hired.
We have those were open prior to July 1.
Okay, that was my question, okay.
Yeah, so the ones that I listed off were after, so the ones prior to July 1 were 2 firefighters, 2 rec leaders.
Okay, so basically all the positions are staying there, we just can't hire anything that became vacant after the 1st of July.
That's my current understanding.
Okay.
So the only positions that I could hire for right now would be the rec leader.
I know the fire chief told us at one point that he's required to have so many people on those fire trucks. Yeah, and so are we operating? Yeah, so is this legal what we're doing by not having, is it gonna hurt us?
So that's why I was like, I'm not telling you to not hire anybody. I'm saying that we need to strategically look at what's vacant and then give us those recommendations for hire.
Right,
Of course, the receptionist part-time in town hall, I feel like, of course, we can do it. We've already made arrangements with that one.
Okay.
With guidance from the town manager, so we definitely can hold off on that one. Unfortunately, all of the department heads need these positions filled because they're already, they're already understaffed in some capacity. So the 2 recreation leaders, I think LaMarco has a plan for that. And like I said, we're just really trying to get through December because I would hate to bring somebody on board and then the town is looking at how are we going to pay them.
Exactly, yeah.
The 3 firefighter openings, I would say, would probably be the most critical. Yes. And that's because they're down 3 firefighters.
What they have to have on the truck.
And they have to have a certain number. And then if we don't look at that and quit, we're going to look at, we've already reduced overtime, which is one of our cost savings. So if you're down 3, somebody's going to have to work some type of way. So we're looking at if we don't fill those, there would be overtime and all that extra.
So if we fill those, though, we probably need to cut somewhere else then?
Well, we probably, if we would fill those, we probably need to consider not filling these other ones.
Okay.
So if the police captain, if he's not in the field and actually out fighting crime, that's something possibly that we could hold off on. If we can with, once we talk to, the chief and deputy chief about that capacity and what that job does. The task force officer, could it be something we can hold off on if we got other task force officers? So I just want to open up the eyes of the board to look at everything in totality versus what the department is, and let's start looking at the function of what the vacancies are.
So we basically need to look at what's the most critical.
Yes, we have to consider at this point what's the most critical.
And then we would have
to
be able
hire.
to speak to like the fire chief or the chief of police and get their.
Because I can tell you right now, everybody, all the positions open, all the department heads need them all.
I know, yeah.
Brittany, oh, are you done? Yeah, I'm done. Okay, thank you. Every town position is valuable, all of them. Our public safety positions are just that. Mission critical, when I look at the fire department and we're down 3 firefighters, that is an automatic priority to continue chief recruiting and fill those positions. And I want the consensus of the board to support that on the record, so Brittany, you know, and Chief Kane, you know as well.
That's in effect, the insurance rating.
And you will continue, we will fill those 3 positions. Everybody good?
Yes, I agree with that.
All right. Thank you, Chief. I know that's what you needed to hear. Brittany, that's what you needed to hear, and Leanne.
So all the rest of the positions are frozen right now, right?
All right, so we talked about the Parks and Rec, we talked about the admin. I'm coming back to you, Chief. Commissioner Tremmel?
Yeah, I had a question for you, Brittany. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, you can't go away yet. I got another one for you. Oh, no. We got some board stuff we gotta talk about.
Okay, sure.
Just a quick question. I thank you for this. It's very thorough and helps us to know where we are, and the decisions we need to make are very clear in front of us here. But I know that we had a briefing, a very quick briefing about 2 weeks ago. Was it the same one as his? Or are we in a more dire position even from 2 weeks ago?
So we're in a more critical position than 2 weeks ago.
What happened in those 2 weeks?
We just we're not collecting any revenues, but we've still had expenditures.
Right.
So we're not bringing in enough money currently to cover what we're paying out in regards to the town. So what I gave you in the last session was in the same thing to compare with this session is what the town has in available cash. So that position, as we continue to progress, will continue to go down because we're going to continue to operate. It's just that revenues are coming in. Like I said, that $212,000 is not even 1% of our budget when it comes to revenues, but we're still increasing expenditures.
Right. But whenever we had the briefing 2 weeks ago, we would have known that we aren't getting these revenues. So it would have been pretty dire then as well as now, correct?
It was dire then, and I'm saying the direness, if that's a word, is getting worse and worse and worse. And it will continue to get worse unless we get more revenues coming in.
Okay.
So.
And at some point, I want to hear from Chief Dollinger too about the positions.
He's coming up next. Commissioner Mitchell?
Mr. Mayor, I can't speak for the rest of the board members. I can only speak from my experience this time of year. Every major job I've ever held, this time of year, budgets are frozen, especially when you're waiting for revenue to come in. Federal government frees their budget until the new fiscal year kick in. I mean, we have lived that life. And when you get to the point where chief's positions is critical because it affects the insurance rating, and you gotta have them on them trucks. Other positions, they are just temporary. This is not saying it's permanent, to get us past that hump, because you said something that was very important. If we have a major natural disaster, we're dead in the water. We are not prepared for that, and we have got to be prepared for that, because we got to do a better job of protecting our citizens and making sure that we're ready to meet the needs of this community, and we're not there. And if we don't get there, we're going to find ourselves in a bad situation.
Thank you, Commissioner Mitchell. Brittany, the 4.1 that we've already spent in the 7 weeks, that was pretty much some of the heavy stuff in the very beginning of the fiscal year.
Yes, so, the breakdown would be majority, of course, payroll, which is, we did a 2.5% COLA. So our payroll is, of course, is the heaviest driver for almost every city, town, department. And then next, like I said, would be our contractual obligations. And then we had those unplanned emergency expenditures, such as the HVAC systems and going through unplanned vehicle repairs. But a lot of it was our July 1st contractual agreements that we had to pay as the fiscal year was starting.
Brittany, you said earlier that you are in the process of reviewing the $2.2 million worth of contracts. Is that correct?
Yes, and there's actually, so, I don't want to verify that number because we possibly have more. But one of the things that I've noted for the town of Hope Mills is that there's a lot of multi-year agreements. So that means that the agreement the contract doesn't align with the fiscal year. Right. So I would like to see more contractual agreements that align with the fiscal year versus doing 3, 4, or 5 year agreements, which locks us into those prices. So what I'm looking at now and what we're trying to transition to is getting those agreements to, I think 1 year should be enough for us to look at it, reevaluate to see if we want to go into the next fiscal year, but not already obligating the town for 2, 3, and 4 years into an agreement. So we are in that process now. It's just that the budget year started like a little bit late. So we really didn't have time to change much going into July 1st because we would have to put out RFPs and put out bids and see what we needed. So one of those contracts is coming up as one of the agenda items, but some of those contracts we have to have time to prepare for if we end up transitioning. And that's just because the town has been in agreement with a lot of these for a long time.
Brittany, and you know, we discussed this during the budget workshop a couple months ago. What we're doing right now, and Chancellor knows this too, is we're in the budget workshop process on the initial phase of 27, 28. And I want to say that again. We are in a workshop right now for the next operating budget, 27, 28. We're not going to wait until January, February to have workshops. This is a continuing process that we're doing right now. Because you're right, Brittany. If we had looked at this last year at this very time, our financial position and outlook would be much different than it is on your slides. And that is something that I can recognize as I'm in my 3rd year as mayor and my 2 terms as commissioner, is that the contract's $2.2 million. That's a significant amount of this budget. And they need to be reviewed. They need to. I don't know how we got into 3 and 4 and 5 year contracts. Don't know how we do that because, and Chief Kane will know that we keep a 1 year contract with somebody right up the road. I don't know how that we can get involved in 3 and 4 and 5 year contracts. So we have to steer away from that. We have to navigate away from that. But that takes time and it takes research to do it. So I commend you on doing just that as we work through it. And it's not going to help us where we are, but it will help us on the 27, 28 as we continue forward. Before I bring Chief up, I just want to ask the board, there's some community events coming up in the next few months that we've all been invited to attend. I don't know what the appetite of the board is. I included some of that in those amounts and 2 different funding sources that we have. In the budget, we reduced it down to training and travel and department supply. I'm not going to the NC Mayors Association fall membership meeting, September 16th, 17th in Beaufort. So I'm not going to go. And that, and so we can use that money here. Now, there will be some of my colleague mayors that will go, and I will get the information from them. But when we're talking about prioritizing funding, I think it starts with this board. It starts with every senior leader in this town. Every one of us. And I'm going to say that again. It starts with every senior leader of this town. So, I believe the consensus of the board is that, are we not attending any of these community events?
I agree, we should eliminate.
I don't know, I'm just gonna ask.
I agree.
There's some of them that we should attend, but Mayor Pro Tem?
I will be attending the Hope Mills Chamber one, but I'll be paying for it myself. Any of the other ones that I can attend and paying out of pocket, I will, but I will definitely be paying for that one myself. There's also a training, I've been looking for trainings that come in through the league emails that are free.
Yes.
And so I've signed up for a couple, or I've been signed up for a couple of those free trainings as well. But if anything that is, that I can do out of pocket, I will do out of pocket. I don't mind.
The one other thing, Ashley and Coranda, is that we do have to continue paying for our league memberships.
Right.
Okay, so, and I belong to the North Carolina Mayor's Association, and then we belong to the league as well. And there's enough funding, you know, in that budget line item to continue our memberships.
Mayor,
Commissioner Hamilton?
I had asked Ashley about the power breakfast that we were all invited to. I didn't know if we paid by the table or what. She said we're members for the whole year, so I didn't know, but maybe that's one of those things that we don't continue in the next year, because I don't think it really applies to us, the power breakfast.
Right. Okay, but we have a table, it's already paid for.
For this year,
We're
yes.
members, so
Yeah.
I encourage
'Cause
all of you.
I didn't know that, that's why I asked.
Yeah, to attend.
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Mitchell.
I'd like to make the recommendation that we suspend all unnecessary spending if it is at a cost to the town. I mean, especially considering our current financial climate is for this training and this unnecessary travel. All, not some, but all.
Commissioner Mitchell, I think your recommendation is one of those bullets up there that we will get a consensus on after we talk to Chief. Well, Chief, come forward, and then we'll come back, Brittany, and then we'll wrap this up.
So, I keep hearing how the police department is 50% of the budget. That's in every municipality, from the smallest one to the largest one. That's normal. That's not something that we're doing different here, that we're exceeding that. That's average in the smallest municipality to the largest city you go to, because it's always normally the biggest biggest entity in the town, and it's 24/7, so that it incurs most of the budget. So that's not something that's unique to Hope Mills. That's not, you know, it's when you see it like that, it gives the impression that we're overspending, and that's why it's like that. That's not the case. That's normal for every municipality. So then I want to address that task force officer's position. We got to get away from just referring to titles in the agency. Every position that we have over there is critical. That task force officer position has already been filled. We pushed somebody in there. Nobody told me we couldn't do that. That was we did a board and we moved them up. That one is also the biggest revenue generator that we have. They work with the DEA. That's the one that we're using all of this asset forfeiture money for. And you see on the agenda tonight that we're using asset forfeiture to outfit cars with lights and sirens. So we're trying to relieve the budget the best we can from that revenue that we're generating. We've also, in the last 2 months, took $320,000 worth of free equipment from the military to relieve our budget too, for things that we needed with rifles and stuff like that. $320,000 in 2 months. Every position there, so we're focused on a task force officer and a captain. And I can see if you wanted to not promote somebody to that position and save a little bit of that salary. But that doesn't mean that those positions aren't critical. So in order for us to hire somebody, we're filling road positions. So those positions are going to be filled at a lot less salary, starting salary, or a lot less than a captain or the officer that left to go to Fayetteville, was at a much higher pay than somebody that we're gonna be bringing on. We've already done an interview, with HR's involvement. She's going through the girl's going through the background process now, and we're almost complete to hire her.
Hire her in what position?
As a police officer on the road. Any position we fill now will be for an officer on the road. That's where we need to be. So we would elevate somebody from within the agency up to that captain's position, okay? Which is critical. Every position over there is critical for public safety. Just because they're not on the road answering calls, it doesn't mean that it's not a critical position. So we will be hiring for the road, and from the time we interview somebody and we hire somebody for the road, and we go through the background phase, and they do an FTO program before they're even eligible for solo patrol. The FTO program is 14 weeks, so that's 3.5 months. And by the time we choose a candidate, interview them, go through the background, that's another 2 months. So you're talking it's 5 or 6 months before we're able to even put somebody on the road to have them available to be able to operate on their own. So freezing them it's going to create a problem for us. And with Cumberland County and Fayetteville just getting huge pay raises, we have more officers that are contemplating going to those agencies. We're doing it, and we can't compete with that. But if we lose 3 or 4 more, those 2 vacancies we're going to be 6 down in, it could be at any time. That's going to really put us, every agency's competing for those things. We don't have, we have 3 or 4 people right now wanting to come here, but if we lose more, we're going to be behind the 8 ball like we were 4 years ago. And the growth of the town is continuing. Our call volume's continuing. We got that lady that sent the email in asking us to partner to do more enforcement with Fayetteville and by that Aladdin's on Hope Mills Road. We can't do those things without bodies. That's what it comes down to.
I got you, Chief. I got you. So, just to make sure that we're clear now, that's part of why these items were put on the agenda. And just to be clear, I put 2 of these items on there. I put this one on there, and I put Brittany's on there, because this is very much important and concerning the financial position and health of this town as we go forward. As we're just now coming out of one budget, we're still in one that we need to navigate. Chief, just like I told Chief Kane, his firefighters is just as important as your patrol officers. I believe in filling patrol officers because they're the ones that are responding to the crimes. They are. This past week I heard concerns about Jack Britt again.
There was a mess Friday night.
I know about the Jamboree thing. I know how that got totally out of control. I don't think the city could handle it. They asked for backup, and you supplied that backup. So what I'm hearing now is the amount of crime that's going to happen when the kids leave Jack Britt and go across the street over in Harris Teeter McDonald's. I was told once more, again, is that the SRO officer at Jack Britt, who I know and you do, will not go to McDonald's, will not police up any kids at McDonald's, because that's not his jurisdiction. And what are we going to do about the crime that's going to happen at McDonald's and Harris Teeter when the kids go back to school on the 24th, which is Monday? And what do you think my answer was?
I don't know.
What do you think, Chief?
I'm at a loss.
Yeah.
We're going to have to.
We don't have the resources.
Yeah, you're right.
We don't. That's exactly my answer. We don't have the resources. We just don't. I wish we did. I mean, I know it's a concern.
And we keep approving every meeting. We keep approving more and more housing, more and more commercial.
I know it's a concern, Chief.
Target is around the corner. That's next year. That's going to increase our call volume absolutely tremendously. Shoplifting, we're going to be in trouble.
So Detective Cannon's position has already been filled.
Correct.
And was that filled externally or internally?
No, internally.
Internally.
We don't fill positions externally unless it's a patrol officer spot.
Okay. So that's been done.
Correct.
Okay. And so when will that patrol officer report?
He's already going through the background. It's Officer Wheeler.
Okay. He's already going through the background.
DEA background check.
Okay. Okay. And Leanne, you're aware of this? Yes, sir. Well, who's doing the background check?
The DEA does the background check.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So once this is complete, he starts.
Yeah, and this isn't a promotion, or this wasn't a promotion or something where we have to have, where we do, a PAF or a salary increase. This is like if a position in detectives opened up and we put some in detectives to fill that spot.
So that's going to open up the position that he's currently in now. Okay.
Yep, everything backfills, and it's backfilled with patrol.
Okay.
And that's why we're hiring people. That's why the positions that the 2 vacancies will be in patrol, because we have to fill those other spots.
Okay, so now we're going to have 1 vacant patrol position.
And then the captain spot will be eventually elevated up, and that will be another spot in patrol. Because a lieutenant will go to captain eventually, a sergeant will go to lieutenant, a patrol officer will go to sergeant, and then that's where the vacancy is. The vacancy is always at the lowest level of the organization. We fill the other vacancies internally.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I have a question too.
So, my first question is, well, in what we heard tonight, let me go back. So, what the board approved for the budget was originally all positions after the budget was approved were to be frozen and not filled. So, the positions that I voted to fill were the 5 patrol and the 1 park and rec. So, and to unfreeze the 1 firefighter position. That's what I voted for. So what I'm hearing is, and what was presented tonight is, the 2 police positions, the 1 captain and the other task force, which you said don't put labels on them, were the 2 positions that were open. But now, how many positions are actually open, and does human resources, so 2, and they're traffic?
Traffic, no.
Are they traffic? What are the 2 that are open?
There'll be
patrol.
Yeah.
So the 2 that are open are patrol?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So.
There will be, yes, ma'am.
And then when you're doing your internal promotions, are the people being put in the positions at the salary that's already there, or are they receiving pay raises?
The task force officer's a wash. He doesn't receive any salary increase.
So like the gentleman at the door, where
He
did
will
he
not
come
receive a
from?
salary increase, correct.
So he's gonna just go into basically you're not doing unilateral. Are you doing unilateral? Where you're just going, you're moving your people. So are they receiving?
Yeah, there's no, he does not get a pay raise. That position doesn't, that is not a pay raise position because it's not a promotion. It's just another assignment, if you would.
Okay, so you have 2 patrol positions open.
There will be, yes.
Okay, so what I voted for was 5 patrol. So you have 2 open, so you need to fill the two?
Well, no, I think where the confusion is they were looking to unfund 5 positions.
Right.
We don't have 5 positions open because we haven't had 5 officers that left.
So you only have 2 open?
Correct.
Okay, and then my other question is.
We were looking to unfund 5.
Not unfreeze.
No, originally was unfunded.
No, it's,
It was unfunded.
unfreeze.
Well, the money wasn't in the budget in the salary line on them.
Yeah, they were budgeted.
It was budget for.
It was just the wording. So does Miss Leanne take part in any of the hiring? Because what I'm seeing is.
Yes, she does.
There's a disconnect because you can't see behind you, but what it looks like is she's not aware of what's happening. And I feel like a lot of that is a huge communication disconnect.
She is involved in all of the hiring.
Is that true?
I don't know.
She's at every hiring we hire brand-new people, she's involved in she comes to every interview of any new applicant that we have. Now, internally, she's not, because she's not involved in hiring, but if we move somebody to detectives, right, or if we promote somebody, we do our own internal.
She should be involved in anything that requires movement of personnel and people, because she's HR. So she should be involved in knowing what you're doing unilaterally, lateral. So if I'm moving over here, my director should be telling HR, Hope is taking this position right here, so that everything is tracking correctly, because what we heard tonight is not the same thing that you've just said.
Well, if we promote somebody, they get a PAF, a personal action form. That's correct. And Leanne and the HR is notified through a personal action form. Now, we do our own internal boards, which is a written, if we're going to make somebody a sergeant or somebody a lieutenant, we do a written, we do an oral, and then we review evaluations, and then we do time on the job and past performance. And then that's all included. The command staff gets together, and then they make a decision, and they rank the people in order. Now, all new hires, HR is involved in. Now, if we move somebody to a position that requires a different schedule or something like that, then, she's notified as well, because they might move from patrol officers work 12-hour shifts, where detectives and day shift folks work Monday through Friday 8-hour shifts. So that would require a PAF.
HR should be involved in
Everything.
promotion
Everything.
or movement.
Right.
Even internal hiring,
So-
HR should be involved.
Just moving somebody, so I just need to be clear here, because I've never seen that ever done before. So if we're going to have somebody from patrol, there's an opening in detectives, HR should be involved in that process?
Yes.
I feel like I feel like my ability to run the police department is getting.
It's just our personnel policy. HR should be involved in any
I was just gonna ask. if
transfer
it's
or
policy.
new position that someone's.
So it's in the personnel policy that they're involved in like moving somebody to detectives or unilateral
It's
position?
a promotion or
That's not a promotion.
or transfer.
Who oversee the fairness process?
I've never heard that before. I feel like it's just I feel like my ability to run the police department is being limited. I feel like we want HR to run the police department. That's what I feel like.
We want HR to be involved in personnel decisions and personnel matters.
Chief, it sounds like to me it's already in the personnel policy. That's what I think is that correct, Dan?
These are not new policies.
That's right.
They're not, yeah.
They're not what?
They're not
They're
new.
not new
You said
policies.
there's
Have to
not
look at
new
the letter of the policy, but our general practice has been HR is involved
That's right.
In hiring and stuff, and
in
she is.
hiring and transfers and promotions.
Shrink the whole process.
And ultimately, those decisions are in the purview of the town manager if it's delegated.
That is correct.
Chief, I don't think she makes a decision on who you promote. She doesn't make that decision, but I think.
I'm just a little confused here.
Is that she's made aware of what.
And we do, and she is
That's what
made
it
aware.
is.
And I'm just a little confused, because I want to be clear here. So I understand what, I've never had to get permission from the town manager to make a promotion before. We do our boards and then we choose. So if I'm being told that's something different, then we'll follow that. But I've never been told that the town manager just decides who goes to detectives or who goes to be the victim advocate. Well, the victim advocate's different, because that's a different pay class, but I've never been told that before.
But Chief, he has to sign all the PAFs, right?
One thing
For a salary increase, yes, sir.
One thing I want to point out, and I'd like to actually ask Brittany this question for the record. Well, the presentation that you gave, was the task force position also included as a vacant position based on your level of understanding? Same thing with HR. Was that task force position in the presentation you gave listed as a vacant position?
That's because
Were
nobody
you
asked me.
involved in the filling of that position? This is to HR. Were you involved in the filling of that position? in any way, shape, or form. Thank you.
Under Section 5, promotions of the town's personnel policies, it says internal candidates shall apply for promotions using the same application process as external candidates.
But that's not a promotion. That's what I'm saying, that's not a promotion.
It's not?
No,
Okay.
it's not a promotion. Like sergeants and lieutenants, that's a promotion. Captain's a promotion. Deputy chief's a promotion.
So the process for transfer, a department director wishing to transfer an employee to a different department or classification shall make a recommendation through the human resources director to the town manager with the consent of the receiving department. Well, that's for transfer to a department, I suppose.
That's a transfer to another department. Yeah, I read that. It's not to transfer a position within the department.
I don't know that we have a policy on.
I think the point I'm making is this is a financial presentation based on the financial status of the town, and we're tying HR to that conversation from a operational standpoint of vacant positions. So to find out a position that we were factoring into as a vacant position has been filled without my involvement or HR's involvement, that is the actual critical issue that I'm trying to point out.
But again, we're focusing on, I did not fill a vacancy. We have 2 open salaries right now. None were filled. None of those positions were filled. The captain's position or when Officer Cannon left, there are 2 open salary positions. So we're talking finances. Those 2 positions are open salary-wise. All I did was move somebody internally to take over Officer Cannon's responsibilities. But the 2 open salary positions were not filled, so there was no, there was nobody to notify because I didn't fill those spots.
Chief, it still leaves, it's going to leave 1 patrol. Commissioner Marley?
2.
I don't really have a question. I just have a couple of statements. I've been sitting here listening and everything, and I'm kind of confused how this board is being drug into HR and hiring practices. Okay, that's outside of our scope. This board's responsibility is to vote on budget concerns and policy that is brought forth by the town manager. That's what we vote on, okay? We don't do hiring. We don't manage individual employees within the departments. We hire the town manager. We hire the town attorney. That's who we're responsible for. That is our only thing, okay? So we're sitting here. We got a excellent presentation by our finance director, and I have a services background. I've been in it all my life. I understand the need. I understand that every firefighter position, every police officer position is critical. Just like Parks and Recs, everything is critical. But we have a recommendation from our finance director that is the governing authority of this town to watch the money for the town. She is telling us for the 2nd time that we are critical. Now, we took a hit on the audit findings for doing the same thing that we're looking at doing now, approving things and not following the recommendation of our staff and town manager. So I just want to be clear on that so everybody knows what we're doing here. But even though I understand it's critical, we have to look at the money. We have to look at the business of the town. We have to run this town like a business. And if our finance director is telling us we're running out of money and we're not going to be bringing in money till the 4th quarter, I don't see the urgency in waiting until maybe the 4th quarter of the year or after the 1st of the year to fill these positions. I understand they're critical, and I'm sorry, but as an elected official, we have to do the business of the town. We have to run the town like a business. We put ourselves in this situation, and we got to get ourselves out of it, and that involves making the hard choices and the hard decisions. So my recommendation to this board, and what I would like for us to do, is follow the recommendation of our finance director, follow all those recommendations, have the finance director, the HR director, and the town manager work with each one of these departments that has these vacant positions and come up with, that's their job. It's not the board's job to decide what department gets what employee. That is that town manager's job. It's his recommendation. We hired him to do the hiring and the firing. And we, as this board, need to get out of HR. It's imperative that we do that. So my recommendation to this board is to follow the finance director's recommendation and have those 3 individuals work with each department and figure out what we need right now and what's a true emergency and what's not a true emergency. Because I personally, I'm telling you right now, the same thing we're doing now is the same thing we took a hit on in the audit report. Just to refresh everybody's memory. And I don't care to have another audit report or another audit finding or another budget year like we just went through. And our finance director is telling us right now that we are critical. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Marley.
I will just very quickly note, I found the relevant section in the personnel policy. It is section, it's the section about recruitment, and it says, let's see. When position vacancies occur, the Human Resources Office shall publicize these opportunities for employment, including applicable salary information and employment qualifications. And it goes on to say, in rare situations, because of emergency conditions, high turnover, et cetera, the town may hire or promote without advertising jobs upon approval of the town manager.
Yeah, but that's hiring, Dan. That's not.
That's when position vacancies occur.
That's right.
So it's, if there's a vacant position and we're filling that, that's the section that applies. Just,
They can review it. Go back.
That's what the policy says.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
You got a comment?
Yes, just want to say, I agree, going back to the finance director's recommendation, and it's like Commissioner Marley just said, we can avoid and prevent any potential additional problems if we do adhere to that. Because if we don't, and something does happen, we have to look in the mirror, look at ourselves and say, we did not follow the instructions given to us, and that's why we hired her. Matter of fact, if we had listened to her at the first part of the year when she said she wanted to review all contracts before we approved them, we would be avoiding some of this mess. We did not do that.
Yep.
So I'm telling you right now, she have given us, since she been in this position, she have been giving us sound advice. When she pushed this stuff out last week, I said, wow, this is spot on. And you know, and I know, we've been there before, and in some of the positions we've held. And I'm telling you right now, this is the time when the rubber meets the road and tough decisions, tough choices have to be made. And she's given us a tough choice to make, and my tough choice is to follow her recommendations and directions.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. All right, Brittany.
No, I was going to say, I had to bring it back for the board because the board gave itself the authority to determine what positions we decided to fill. So in order to fill or freeze any positions, I had to bring it back to the board. And the presentation didn't say that the police department was spending 50% of the budget. That was showing that just as of July 1st, 50% of the expenditures that we see thus far have been police, and then 16% has been fire, which makes it cumulatively 66% of everything we spent this fiscal year has been directed towards public safety. It is not common, and I've been a finance director in several cities, this is my first town, for a police department to have 50% of a budget. And so the police department doesn't have 50% of the budget. The presentation says 50% of the expenditures, and that's as of current. So I wanted to clarify that it's not 50% of the budget. So it's close to it, but it's not there.
Okay. So the finance director's recommendations, there are 4 points on that slide. We've gone back and forth. We've got, like Commissioner Marley said, we got down in the weeds again. Right, Commissioner Marley? Yes, sir. We got down in the weeds again. But I think, Brittany, you needed some clarification.
Yes.
And I think that's why we're here too. Right. We're here also to provide clarification and guidance to what you need to do over the next 4 months.
Yes. However, I do feel that I wasn't able to, I had to redact some things because I wasn't aware that the positions had already been filled, which did free up patrol. I did reach out to Leanne. I didn't think to reach out to Police Chief Dollinger. I reached out to Leanne, and she gave me the list as of today of the current vacant positions. And as of today, those two were still listed current in the HR department. So my financial assessment would have to change a little bit just because I wasn't aware that the positions got filled, which then in return would open up 2 patrol officers that we had projected 5 would be vacant by December in the original budget. So the recommendation then still wasn't to unfund, it was to freeze any type of promotional for some additional cost savings. So,
Brittany, I think the money's gonna move from one position to another. So you're still gonna have 1 vacant patrol position.
no, we won't. There's gonna be 2, but those, according to what I hear, will not be vacant long either because they're gonna be filled as well.
What 2?
There was 2, so there was 2 positions. We had the task force
and the
and then we
captain.
had the police captain.
Yeah, just
From
2.
what we heard tonight, both of those positions have been filled, which frees up 2 patrol.
No.
So just 1.
Only 1. Okay, so there's only been 1 internal, right, Chief? Only 1. There's only been 1 internal. The captain position has not been filled. And there has been, and no one's been promoted in that position. So with one patrol position moving to the task force, it's no change in the funding. But it does leave still that 1 vacant position, whether it's task force officer or patrol. There's still 1 vacant. So,
Unfortunately, though, that makes that position like direct services. So that's a patrol position and not necessarily, so I guess that would be one of the main priorities that we had said that we were not going to freeze at that point because we've shifted. So now you have a open patrol officer position, which you said that you were not going to freeze.
Captain stay frozen, right?
the captain position will stay frozen. Is it the desire of the board to fill the 3 firefighter and the 1 patrol?
Just to clarify, you're not necessarily voting to fill or not fill, you're voting to fund or not fund.
That's what I'm saying, funds. Thank
Because
you.
the board doesn't get involved in personnel decisions.
Yeah, that's funding.
Good clarification.
I need clarification because I'm super confused at this point. I have Officer Wheeler currently listed as a Special Operations Division officer, not a patrol officer. So if he's moving to task force, that would not open up a patrol position. So I don't know, has he moved again? I'm not really sure.
I want to steer us away from discussing particular personnel matters here.
There's a lot of confusion because things aren't getting communicated.
Okay, so I think we're good with the firefighters, and then we're going to let HR and finance work out with the police department on those positions. Are we good with that?
Can we just make a motion?
Yeah, that's
I'll make a motion.
Are you good with that? Are you good with the firefighter? And we
I'm
can
good
go
with the finance director's recommendations. That's what I'm good with. And that's what I want to make a motion that this board follows the finance director's recommendation.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. So, he did. Any other discussion? So, for these vacant positions, you're gonna come back with a recommendation.
She don't need to. Yeah, they gotta figure out what's going on.
Once we actually figure out as of today what's truly vacant, then.
Because that's what your top bullet is, and that's what Commissioner Marley is making his motion on, is that you will work with the department heads and come back and request funding for critical priority positions.
Good word.
I want to make sure that I got it right, Brian.
However, for clarity, that means the next meeting isn't until September. So we're not moving forward with the funding of those positions until we hear back from the board until September.
Until the board, until you come back in September.
That's right.
And that's for all vacant positions.
Until you as the finance director come back with a recommendation for this board.
What about fire?
I will say, if you're talking about fire, watch out, Brittany. That last clause in bullet 1, where it says, unless an exception is approved based on exceptional necessity of public safety need. I think as a manager, that would give me the authority to tackle the fire positions prior to September 21st, if the board so chooses.
And I think that discretion would be good, because we don't want to have to come back to a meeting if there is truly a position that needs to be filled on an emergency.
Mayor,
Mr. Marley, would you amend your
I was
motion?
about to say, I'll amend my motion
Okay.
for the finance director's recommendation to include the manager's comment.
I'll second that again.
You amend your second? All right, anything else? All right, let's go.
Can I ask a
Go
question?
ahead.
So in other words, we're gonna wait until we know exactly what's gonna happen. The town manager wants to change the way that that they're hiring, then is that what we're voting on? That he's able to,
Essentially, what you're doing is freezing the funding for those vacant positions.
Correct.
Unless it's determined to be, exigent circumstances kind of thing.
Mission critical.
Where
Okay.
it's a critical position that needs to be filled
okay.
on an emergency basis instead of waiting until the next board meeting.
And the town manager is the one that does that?
Correct.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to be clear.
Okay. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries. Finance Director recommendations are approved
That's good stuff.
as stated.
Thank you.
We needed that.
With the exception of the critical
Yes, it's in on thing.
positions
See? Unless-
by the town manager.
It's number-
Item C, Safety Manual Amendment. That's up next. So you have that. All in.
Pretty easy. Safety policy.
I know there was a lot of emails that back and forth about this, so
All right,
what
so,
we got? Do we
30
have a copy of it?
seconds.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
So the safety manual amendment clarifies who's responsible for what, strengthens our accident investigation and documentation procedures, creates a fair review process for temporary driving restrictions, and makes clear that safety review and employee discipline are separate processes. So that is what this amendment does.
I'll make the motion. Oh. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I assume there's questions.
Mayor, I read this earlier, but I have a couple questions, if I could.
Commissioner Trimble, I have two, so
Okay.
go ahead.
Hey, Leanne.
Hi.
I read where you're going to have a safety committee. Do you know who your town safety officer and your 3 members will be yet?
So let me clarify. This is an amendment to an existing policy. We already have
You
the
already
committee.
have them.
Yes,
Okay.
the committee consists of myself,
Okay.
our deputy public works director,
Okay.
our fire chief, and our deputy fire chief. Between the 4 of us, we've got a lot of experience in different areas related to safety, and so that's how we determined that group.
And one more question. You may have said it at the beginning, and
Sure.
it just went over my head because still thinking of all this. Why was it necessary to change all this?
There were questions. I think there was some maybe not understanding of how the way the policy was written, so we're just clarifying that language. With the timing of the personnel policy, we also removed the section regarding discipline because that's already addressed in the personnel policy. So it was really just kind of making some edits to that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Trimble.
I'm good.
Commissioner Hamilton?
Question, thank you.
Okay.
So on all of these amendments, these are actual amendments to what's already in the policy, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so how do we know which, well, for example, temporary suspension of town driving privileges? Following an accident involving operation of a town vehicle or town motorized equipment, the employee's authorization to operate town vehicles or town motorized equipment is temporarily suspended. So that was never in the original one?
No, I think it tells you on there what which number is that? Because it tells you which article and which section. I'm not sure.
There's no number on it or anything.
What's section 7.7 vehicle accidents?
Documentation, I guess.
So it says section 7.7 vehicle accidents. Section 7.7 is repealed in its entirety and replaced with the following. Yeah, that's part of that.
Accident scene documentation.
Yep, that's part of that.
Okay. So some of these are completely different and some of them are just amendments. Some of the policy has changed.
Some are edits to the language, some are removing things, some are adding things, yes.
It's kind of hard to approve it if I don't know, if I'm not looking at the actual policy and comparing it, because I don't know what the actual policy states. If you understand what I mean.
So I think some of this stuff is just putting it in clearer language. It's really, there's been no changes to the processes. It's, as with all of these policies we've been changing and updating, it's putting practices in place that need to be placed in writing so there's less confusion.
Right, this is another example. All work-related accidents involving operation of a town vehicle or town motorized equipment should be reported immediately, investigated. So the actual policy tells who they notify?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Like I said, it's kind of hard to know what's what in here, what's amended and what was taken out, and like you said, and replaced. So I don't know.
But, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to add that all.
Commissioner Hamilton, you finished?
I'm sorry, excuse me.
Um,
I'm good.
I might want to table this until we can go over this and compare it. I mean, it's kind of hard to approve something when we don't have anything to reference it.
Yeah, I mean, I could put together a red line. I was trying to keep it not 50
Yeah,
pages.
I appreciate that, but.
Yeah.
Not give us too much, but like I said, if I don't have anything to compare this to, then I don't
it's-
know what's new and what's changed and what's different and what's been done.
Sure.
You know, if you
Again, nothing in here is changing what's the practice. It's only changing the language in the policy, so that's fine. It wouldn't make any changes, so we can do that. I mean, what I'm saying is it's fine if you want to wait till the next meeting, because
Commissioner Mitchell?
the practices are already in
Unless
place.
this is
Commissioner
critical,
Hamilton.
unless
Okay,
this
go
is
ahead.
critical, I don't know that we should, that I'd like to do it, that I'd like to wait if it's possible.
I'm gonna entertain a comment from Commissioner Mitchell, and then
Okay.
Actually, safety is, as a matter of fact, every job I worked on, safety is number one. And policies are required to review every year to make sure we're in compliance with the further changes. And when I look at the safety policy right here, especially case in point, the one that was about if there's an accident, as soon as possible when there's an accident, someone should report it so they can be properly recorded. And at the same time, let's say, for instance, someone had an accident and come to find out they was intoxicated on the job. How will you know that if you did not follow proper procedures? And this is what this really doing, is actually protecting the town, prevent us from having liability issues as well. I think it's a good policy, and at the same time, it's also made, when we vote on it, that it can be adjusted as necessary as required, but we don't have something in place. We're making ourselves liable, and I think the attorney can add more teeth to that if required and necessary. The policy is to give us more teeth to protect us and our employees in the community as well as our citizens in the community.
thank you, Commissioner Mitchell. The one question I have, it's about accidents.
Yes.
A town employee is involved in an accident. What triggers a drug test?
So any employee who operates a town vehicle or motorized equipment, like in parks and public works and such, they're required to. Well, there's two reasons for a drug test mostly. One is they're all part of a random pool that we do quarterly, and then if they have an accident in one of those vehicles, then that triggers post-accident testing.
Okay,
So one of the
Okay, so is there any threshold on the damage to the vehicle?
no.
Okay, so it could be a scratch on a vehicle and it's required a drug test?
Yes.
Scratch.
Yes, if it's so, look at it this way, if we had an incident where a school bus backed into one of our police vehicles, under this policy that we have that we put in April, they would not require a drug test because he wasn't operating the vehicle at the time of the accident. But if somebody was operating the vehicle and they sideswiped a car or, rear-ended somebody, then they would be required to take a test.
So is there a dollar amount on the damage, I guess?
No, that's not normally, you don't put a dollar amount to the damage because it's not directly related to the amount of damage. It's the incident itself that triggers the drug test.
It's the incident, okay.
It'd be probably a slippery slope to try to put a
Yeah.
dollar amount, because then,
Just
you know,
trying to clarify.
you may have a very minor incident, but what you're looking at is, you know, is this person a safe driver, or can we have them on the road? It's a liability issue, really.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to make sure, that there's no dollar amount on it. It's, so the incident, so a drug test is initiated.
Mhm.
Okay, so when does the employee come back to work?
Immediately. They're not suspended from work. The only thing that happens is they're temporarily, their driving privileges are revoked until the drug results come back, which is usually within 3 to 5 business days.
Okay, so it's either a vehicle or it's the machine, or, so they can't operate any equipment, vehicles at all until the drug test comes back.
The results, yes.
Okay, so that's not one person says, look, I'm the one that's going to decide on whether this person comes back or not.
No,
Or
no.
operates a vehicle or operates a machine.
Unless the investigation identified a root cause issue that would warrant someone's driving privileges being suspended longer than that, but that's not normal. It's basically just the drug results.
Okay, all right.
And then there are certain criteria if it also needs an alcohol. Like there are certain criteria that if that needs to be, that's not every single one. It depends on.
Are we doing rapid drug tests?
So we were, as a compromise, trying to expedite the process and use rapid testing for our post-accident, and then we were informed by our drug testing company that North Carolina actually prohibits that. The only time you're allowed to use a rapid test is for pre-employment screening.
Okay.
Ah.
Yeah.
Good info.
That's good. Then you'd be, yeah.
First time I've heard that.
Yeah, I do have a question. Accidents, reportable versus recordable.
Yeah, those are OSHA terms. Yes.
I mean, just, I mean,
So those don't dictate the incident. And actually, that's one of the amendments in here, is clarifying that language, that it says that, see where it is.
And why
It
you-
talks about the definitions, that does not dictate what an accident is.
okay, it don't talk about incidents versus accidents. And another one on you
Yes.
is, do we, or have we ever considered putting together an accident review board or accident review team?
And that is what our safety committee does.
Okay,
Yes,
good deal. All right.
exactly.
I was gonna ask that question, because here, when I look under initial determination and department director review, it says a continued suspension remains in effect during committee review. So do we have a committee for that?
That is our safety committee, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
And we have liaisons assigned by, from each department, with the exception of town hall. We condensed that to one person because we didn't need 6 people.
There's a lot of important stuff in here. It says negative drug or alcohol test result does not require restoration of driving privileges when an independent concern remains regarding unsafe driving conduct. So there's a lot of very important information in here that I don't know if it's in the original, if it's part of the original policy, if this is.
These are clarifications for the existing policy.
See, that's what I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
That's why it's an amendment.
Yeah, I understand
line
that, but
change
there's
would probably
nothing for me to compare it with.
I think a red line change showing like exactly what the changes are would probably be beneficial so that the board
That's why I was
knows
coming
what
back to
we're voting on.
just table it.
One
I'll
of the
note
things that
just real quick, just so you know, there is a general statute, 95-232, that sets out the drug test that says for a prospective employee, you can use the preliminary screening procedure, single-use test device, but it says for current employees, the screening test shall only be performed by an approved laboratory. So there is a difference between, prospective employees and current employees.
And we do work with 2 different drug testing, one for after hours and one for daylight hours, and they know we're a municipality. They know a lot of our positions are safety sensitive and they need to get back on the road, so they do their best to expedite them to the best of their ability.
Okay.
The volume of accidents an individual have, is there some form of corrective action or some level of discipline to address that matter? Individual that had 3 accidents within 6 months or within a year, what corrective action is being taken to ensure that we streamline that or fix that problem?
So we don't have anything like that, because what you don't want to happen is you don't want to discourage people from reporting incidents. So what we do have is the corrective policy in the personnel policy, so that if there is someone who has multiple accidents and we're showing it's negligence, or that there's, you know, repeated offenses and they've gone through training and they're still having the same issues, that would go through our normal performance management process.
You know, there's a preventive process in place. Let's say, for instance, that, you know where I'm going with this. If I go in and sign out a vehicle to drive, if I don't inspect that vehicle and it was an accident prior to me getting it, it's on me then.
And that's in our existing policy, that they're supposed to be inspecting their vehicles before use.
Good deal.
Yes.
We also want to probably not necessarily have a blanket rule that, you know, a certain number and a certain time, you know, because you want to be able to look at each one individually.
Right.
We may have some sort of policy along those lines, but I think some flexibility is good because, you know, one serious accident may call for disciplinary action. 3 minor accidents, if it's determined, you know, that it wasn't necessarily the employee's fault, may not. So you don't want to set some blanket rule and, you know, not be able to have an individual analysis of everything.
In number 11, it's safety violations and corrective action. And it says, nothing in this manual creates a separate disciplinary process or modifies disciplinary authority established by the personnel policy. So it doesn't really tell me anything in here about disciplinary action.
So that was the part where we're actually going to be rescinding, it's the progressive disciplinary policy that was in there is repealed. We're taking that out and replacing it with that because the performance actions are already in the personnel policy. It's redundant.
Okay. Motion to table?
Motion to table?
All in favor? Tabled. Moving on. New business.
That's what
Thank you.
We get business done. All right.
Ashley, this will be one coming back for our September meeting.
Leanne, I see.
Item A, under new business, consideration and approval of the Personnel Policy Amendment and approving Resolution R 2026-026 under tab 16. That one is you again, Leanne.
All right, so 30-second synopsis. This amendment is preserving our employees' holiday benefit, which currently pays non-exempt employees straight time for hours worked on the holiday, but applying our normal overtime rules and ending the future holiday banking. So essentially, just to give you an example, right now if an employee works on a holiday, they bank their holiday hours for future use, and they get paid time and a half rate of overtime. What's changing is that they're no longer banking them for future use, and they are being paid straight time. So essentially, from a financial standpoint, the employee is gonna look at it as they're getting paid 1.5 times. Now they're basically getting paid their double time. The reason that's important is because by holiday banking, we're creating an extreme liability, and Brittany can speak more to this, a financial liability of, you're paying that person at a higher rate when they use it. A lot of our staff can't use it because they have comp time, so those balances are getting higher and higher and higher. And it's a big unexpected financial expense when one of those employees leaves, and we now have to pay those all out. So this is gonna stop the banking and just pay people for the holidays as they come up.
So that'll fix the problem.
It will fix the problem. And it should be minor because we're not paying them overtime anymore, so it should help shift that cost, and we have 13 holidays a year, so.
All right, Commissioner Marley?
I was just gonna make a motion that we approve, R 2026-026.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries. Moving on, item B, approval of network maintenance service agreement with High Country Computers LLC for the period of July 1, 2026 through June 30, 2027 with a not-to-exceed amount of $80,000, and this is tab 17. This is one of the contracts you've been working on, Brittany. Do we need it?
Yes. This contract is one that we need. It provides all of the network and IT for the entire town. But what I did do is I did include a not to exceed, and that's just because just a way to control cost. If you did have a chance to look at the agreement, it should be in your packet. You see there's an hourly rate, so I wanted to find some type of way to control costs with that and to limit the hours. So that's why we got this formal agreement. It's for a year. The town has used this vendor for quite some time. This is one that we didn't have time to put out for bid or any type of RFP, so we just entered into an annual agreement with a cap. And I came up with the number based on the past 3 years of what we spent, the average. So,
Mr. Mayor, are you gonna make it? Go ahead.
Brittany, this is in the budget, right?
yes.
Okay, it is currently budgeted. That was
But
my
it's,
only question.
I capped it out, so I didn't actually, we just put a NTE on it and not just an open agreement.
We should have NTEs on a lot of them. Wouldn't you agree?
It depends.
Okay, all right. Mayor Pro Tem?
I move that we approve the network
gotta get one.
maintenance service agreement with High Country.
Mayor Pro Tem, can you speak into the mic, please?
I move that we approve the network maintenance agreement with High Country Computers LLC for the period July 1, 2026 through June 30, 2027. Establish a contract not to exceed the amount of $80,000.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion by the board? Any other questions on this contract?
Next one.
All in favor? Seeing none opposed? Approved.
All right, next.
Next, C, approval of the Forces Metric Software as a Service, SaaS agreement, reducing the first-year contract amount from $34,000 to $22,000, and authorizing the town manager to execute the amendment. That's under tab 18. Brittany, do we need it?
Brittany.
Do we need it?
Chief Dollinger is here. I think he could explain what they needed or used it for.
I didn't know who owns it. Who owns this contract? Chief, you got it?
Yes, actually, it's budgeted, but we're getting what's it, $13,000? $13,000?
12,000 to 22.
I'm sorry?
34 to 22.
Yeah, so a $12,000 discount. We renegotiated our first-year term, so this is just signing the amended contract with the $12,000 savings is what it is.
Is this a one-year contract?
Yes, sir.
Because I didn't see that in here.
So we're already in a contract with them.
Well, it was approved in the budget, yes, as one of the contracts, and we were gonna sign it, but then we when they were asking us to get the signature to them, because the town manager has to sign it, we were able to renegotiate and get $12,000 cheaper. That's what this is about, yes.
Well, my question is it a one-year contract?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
And this one, those,
And it was approved in the budget. It's just, this amendment is just because it's now, we're getting, our first year contract is gonna be $12,000 cheaper than what we had budgeted for.
It's from July 31st, 2026 to July 31st, 2027, so it's for 1 year.
1 year, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Pro Tem, you have a question?
Just that, I think Commissioner Hamilton cleared up a little bit, is just the wording for a first-year contract. So for the first year, is it just reduced to $22,000?
Correct, from 34.
So then at the, before a new contract is done, it would need to come back and be presented before the.
We'd have to budget for it, yes, ma'am.
Finance Director, we good?
In regards to, the agreement is in your packet. The subscription agreement says that this is a term license for 3 years.
Term license.
I don't know if there's.
Wait a minute, hold up here.
I think it references
Sorry.
first year, because I think each year we got a discount on the first year, and then each year there should be a price listed, but it says this is a 3-year agreement.
Do we have an NTE on this?
Wait. Who's involved in the contract negotiation?
Who reduced it to 22?
When when we got the quote and they wanted it, they kept asking us for the quote to be signed sooner, but now the town manager signs it, so when in order to make it more appetizing for the town, they agreed to they agreed to submit a new quote and reduce the amount.
My concern is the language right now, Mayor.
Oh, well, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
We're
interrupt.
I'll come back
talking
to you.
and possibility of a 3-year contract initiation, and we're only working with the one right now based on what you just read. So what do we have here?
There's more to this, I found. Mayor, there's more to this.
Commissioner Hamilton,
It says,
and then I'll come back.
the original agreement provided for a first-year contract amount of $34,000 for the period July 26, 27. The subsequent execution of the agreement, Force Metrics submitted amendment number 1, which modifies the original, modifies only the first-year pricing provision of the agreement. Then it says, under the amendment, the first-year contract price is reduced from 34 to 22. All remaining terms and conditions of the original agreement remain unchanged. We don't have the original agreement in here to tell us what that says.
And see, and then I'm
Only the
concerned, look at that language
The
down there.
original is in there.
Oh, it is?
The original was in your,
Yeah, we have it.
I got the dropout, I don't have that one.
And for the second year fees, it shows it's $36,750. For the third year fees, effective date, it shows $38,587.50. The first year shows the $34,000, which was reduced to $22,000.
Correct.
So if we're in agreement, then we would be agreeing to
All that.
the original, what Commissioner Hamilton read. So that would.
And that's what was originally budgeted, right?
Is that one of those contracts that you should have been reviewing?
I currently review, all of the town's contracts that come through the finance department. However, internal, the purchasing policy delegates authority, over 15,000 to the board and not the town manager.
And that's the key I want to highlight. The board approves the budgeting of a contract during budget season. The procurement policy governs the execution of that contract. Any contract below 15,000 comes to me. Any contract for execution above that is authorized by board only.
Correct.
So I want to be clear on all 3-year terms. Year 1 is 22,000. What is year 2?
36, I think. And then year 3 is 38.
Okay, I want to make sure that all 3 of these years, if we're doing a 3-year,
What, yeah.
I mean, why are we doing a 3-year?
That's a good question.
So it's either 3 or none?
All remaining terms and conditions of the original agreement remain unchanged.
What's before you is an amendment for the first year, but of a
Right.
3-year contract.
Right.
So if you don't want to enter in a 3-year contract, we'd have to go back to the table and say, okay,
Okay.
Yeah.
scrap this, let's start over, with,
I really.
which would probably result in, a higher
lose the
price for a
discount.
3-year
Correct.
I mean, and actually, was this particular contract went out for bids? Did we go out for bids for this?
No, it's a,
Right now, it's like it's treated as a sole source.
it is.
Why is it a sole source?
Got it.
Be-
So
becau-
actually, this is an important point. We've already signed the 3-year contract, so the only thing before you is the amendment
When the hell did we
reducing the
sign it?
price for the first year.
That cleared it up.
Yeah, but we assigned it. When did we sign it? When did we sign it? And who signed it? Who's authorized to sign it?
So the 3-year agreement was signed, July 14th, 2026.
2020.
Signed by, Police Chief Dollinger.
Well, how much was he authorized to sign that much for that contract? That's the question. That's yes or no?
It was approved in the budget.
I'd have to look at the
And
procurement
then,
policy. Likely,
and then previously,
I would
pre-
think, I would think,
sorry,
I would think the procurement, it sounds like the procurement policy says it's the manager's purview to sign for 15 or less, or for higher, it goes to the board. Is that?
That is correct.
And when that was brought to my attention, all of the contracts are forwarded to the town manager now. Previously, for in all the other years, I've always signed. Finance director never, the previous finance director. When this was brought to our attention this year, everything gets sent to the town manager now and to the board.
When did we change the procurement policy? I know we did a new policy few months ago. Have we did one? Have there been a change?
The old finance director would authorize for me to sign those contracts. And now the new finance director came in and said, that's not the way it works. We're following the policy now, and everything gets sent to the town manager or to the board, depending on the amount.
Here's my challenge, Mr. Mayor.
It is challenging because things change when people take over, and
Not that. The challenge is we just came from under the microscope with an audit. And we're seen to be still making some of the same mistakes, doing some of the same practices, and get us back in that same ship again if we don't reel this stuff in. Now, I can't speak for you all. I'm going to speak for me. Bottom line up front is I don't plan on having an audit while I'm sitting up here as a commissioner. I can't speak for the rest of y'all. So we got a new finance director in here. She's been doing an excellent job. So bottom line up front, here's the question. Is that a legal binding contract?
I would have to look into that.
Got to look into it, please. We got to, because technically, based on the procurement policy and procedure, we have failed to do something. So my question is, if the police chief not authorized to sign the contract, although he's a representative of the town, does that make it a legal binding contract?
Possibly not, but let me do some looking.
May I make we table this and?
We're gonna table item C. Somebody make the motion.
I make the motion that we table this. What is it? Which one is it?
This doesn't have to be, it's not time sensitive, right? Brittany?
yes, we'll lose the discount.
Back up.
Do we have the original signed contract? Could I
It's
take a
just
look at that? Yeah.
That locks us for a 3-year contract. Am I right?
What's that?
That locks us down to a 3-year contract.
If it's binding, yes.
If it's legal, if it's binding. You know, who else can negotiate with the chief and find out because I'm telling you, this kind of stuff that we have to fix.
Well, everything gets sent to them now. I'm telling you the way the previous finance director told me to do it. When things were approved in the budget, he told me to sign it. Now that the new finance director is in and they're following the policy, everything gets sent over now.
Let's table this until we have a complete review by the town attorney.
Roger
Make
that.
sure that we're right.
Appreciate it.
I'm gonna table this. Do I have a motion?
Motion? to
Second.
table this? Okay.
All in favor? It's tabled. Ashley, for the scorecard, we have 2. Moving on. I want to make a point here also that any contract, Brittany, any of them,
That's right.
will be thoroughly vetted.
That's right.
Thoroughly. Any of them. I don't care what the amount is.
That's right.
I don't care what department.
Yep.
They will be thoroughly vetted. Item D, consideration and approval of budget amendment number 5 in the amount of $1,188 for police cadet training. That's under tab 19.
Mr. Mayor, I make the motion to approve of what staff recommend, hold it, it's right here. Staff recommend approval of the budget amendment number 5 appropriating $1,188 of restricted donated funds to the Hope Mills Police Department for the continuous operation of cop-out, drop-out summer program consistent with donors' intended purpose.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries. We're going to item E, consideration and approval of budget amendment number 6 in the amount of $15,662 for vehicle maintenance and repair for the police department under tab 20.
All right, tab 20.
Anybody want to talk about this?
Yeah, let me see.
$15,662. What line item is this coming from, Brittany? Okay, just want to make sure.
Does it fall in line with assets forfeiture? Okay.
Yep.
Good then.
Yep. We have a motion?
Yeah, make a motion. Staff recommend authorization and use of assets forfeiture funds in the amount of $15,662 for the purchase of installation of emergency equipment necessary to place 2 undercover law enforcement vehicles in service.
Second.
Have a motion, have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries. Brittany, the reason I asked that, I want to make sure it's not coming out of the contingency fund.
Yep. All right.
We guard it. We guard that. Item F, consideration and approval of budget amendment number 33, reversing the unused FY 2025-2026 appropriation of $530,000 for the walking trail repair project tab 21.
430.
Oh, 400. What am I? I'm sorry, 400, let me correct it. $430,000 for the walking trail repair project. Beth?
Yes, sir. Good evening. So that was what was allocated in last year's budget. It was not spent because we just started. So, and you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, we have reversed that budget amendment, so it goes away. And the new budget amendment for this project is $309,000, which is what you all approved, the contract plus 10% contingency.
All right. Mr. Mayor? Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem?
So 309,000, and then the 10% contingency puts it at the 430?
Nope.
Well, where'd you get the, 309 isn't on here, so that's why I was asking.
Yeah, there's two items. So the first one you're looking at is the reversal of the 430,000 from last year.
We're gonna remove one.
Oh, I hopped up.
I shouldn't have brought up the 309,000. We're not there yet, sorry.
We're gonna remove one and then replace it with another.
Yes.
Correct? Yep.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna remove the 430,000 under tab 21. So do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Amendment 33.
Second.
All in favor?
Tongue-tied there.
Okay. Motion carries. That's been removed. Now, Beth, let's do the correction.
Now, what we are actually appropriating for this year, and it is the total cost of the contract, which was 280 something, and then we added 10% contingency to that to make it 309,000.
Motion
All
to
right.
approve budget amendment number 7.
I have a question.
I got a motion. Do I have a second?
I have a question.
I need a second, then we'll go.
Second.
Okay, now what discussion?
I'm sorry.
We're
going
good.
through this.
We're good.
But I do have a question. I think I asked you about this before. So the money that we're spending on this, even if they find something really bad wrong, they're not going to charge any more money for this, are they? Are we going to do?
If they find something really bad wrong and it's more than what we have allotted for the contingency, I'm gonna knock on wood for that.
Really bad wrong.
If it's more than the contingency funding, we have to follow our procurement policies, but any, change order has to come before the board and get approved by the board. So they will have to stop work, and then you all will have to approve a change order to that existing contract.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All in favor? All in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries. Remember, I had a motion, had a second, we went into discussion. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you all.
Can you use your mic, please?
Before we get to that, I will let the board know I reviewed the Force Metrics contract. It is not binding because it is not pre-audited. So it's not a valid agreement.
Back to you, Brittany. It's back to you.
Contract.
The contract. It's not pre-audited.
So the Force Metrics contract, the one you just sent me is not pre-audited, so it's not a valid contract.
Contract goes back to you.
I feel good, right? We making progress.
So we'll discuss how to proceed with Chief's involvement.
And again, I will reiterate, this is the process that we're going to use on every
Force Metrics
contract going
contract,
forward.
we'll need to get together.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, motion to conduct a closed session pursuant to NCGS 143-318.11A3, attorney-client privilege, NCGS 14-318. Yes, I move to seal the minutes of the closed session until such time as the release of the information will no longer frustrate the purpose of the closed session and further no action was taken.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Seeing none opposed? Do I have a
Motion to
motion to
adjourn.
adjourn? Second? We are adjourned. Aye, yeah, we're out. All right.